Live tonight on American Zombie, Agent Smith Syndrome. That's the topic. Why do people turn into Agent Smith? What are the signs? It's really crazy. I see Agent Smiths pop up every day, man. Agent Smith, of course, is the character from the Matrix, the main agent. Alexis, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Agent Jose. Oh man, it's a good one, man. Yeah, Mark, good to see you, bro. What's up, bro? Yeah, man. Could be, man. Yeah, Agent Jose kind of came out. It kind of comes out of the person, man. Definitely Agent Smith is one heck of a character. I mean, he became so powerful that even the Matrix was worried about him. What, like the main character in the rain, he just don't care. Agent Smith is up in the grill, following wherever you're at, popping out of anywhere. Just Agent Smith appears. Agent Smith syndrome is real. It's very real. We see it in people that we thought were cool. We see it in people that we grew up with. Agent Smith has a way of popping out. As soon as you hit a certain topic, you know, what Agent Smith doesn't want you to have a voice. Doesn't want anybody with the voice. The Matrix showed this very well. Showed how this Agent Smith syndrome works, man. You know, people just yeah. You question Jose on one thing, the dog fence question, and Agent Smith appeared out of Jose. Yeah, man. Yeah, that the dog fence question was so brutal, man. That had him on the unicycle, and I think he was still holding a kind of animosity, like when he mentioned something like, I think I highlighted a comment yesterday of yours, and he, you know, he just, it's like once you criticize someone, it tells you a lot about them, and their response is what really gives that telling, if they can take the criticism. Ashar, good to see you always. I mean, Jose, hopefully he does okay on his way. I think it was something in his day that happened. Still got a lot of caring for everybody. You know, sometimes it's like, look, we're still cool. We just can't hang out together. It is what it is. People grow. People see things. You know, it's just not his group. And hopefully he got good information while he was around. From what Scribe had talked to him about, it does seem like he was it does seem like he was kind of dating coach in disguise. There's definitely something over with that. Yeah, you try to tell people about voting, man. If you tell them anything and they're political, forget it. Agent Smith pop out. Republican Smith, Democratic Smith, Agent Democrat pops out, Agent Republican pops out, and it is at that point becomes a chase in the Matrix. You start to realize, like, wow, every time I touch this trigger, Agent Smith pops out. He pops up, and remember, he's a fictional character. He's a character that can copy himself. Agent Smith, you got different faces of Smith that pops out. We saw many people get Agent Smiths pop out of them. And this is something that can be repeated. It can be triggered. That's the amazing thing. It can be triggered. Certain we already know. It's like Alexis said. It's like you say something about voting, bang, they pop out. Yep, he's right. I don't see people. I see codes, man. That's the true. That's the true right there. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, he could be teaming. I mean, I look at it as they might want to team up, whatever, man, Fine. They could form the X-Men. I don't care, man. If I gotta play Apocalypse, I'll play Apocalypse, man. Everybody can. All we can do is play our part, man. It's like he want to mess around, try to form Voltron with Koala. It's like, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, he's another total nutcase. I don't even like to like highlight his stuff. He actually, who knew him was Blaxican, and the Prune, Tony Pruno, 21 Closets, and those guys. They all that was their private nutcase. And again, he needs mental help. He really needs some type of I mean, he's like on um he's like on yeah, straight jacket level. What moment did Smith come out with this guy? You know, it came out when I got into it with Koala and Kadoosh and the Prune. I mean, the Prune is like a 70-year-old monster that refuses to die, something that lives deep within the caves of denial. And he got with Anthony Johnson. I mean, that name, and then to put a middle name of Dream is just hilarious. Oh man, Anthony, yo, Dream Johnson is hilarious, man. Johnson Dreamer. But yeah, they all, and this is the crazy thing, they all admit to trying to stage like some type of coup because they wanted me to go and basically do dating coach stuff with them. And because I refused, they all teamed up together. And I think that's when Kadoosh had a channel, and they tried to call it black pill dating. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, the way they tried to grift it, they joined up with Tomato, Ranging Tomato too. So the Agent Smiths came out like crazy. I mean, they were Matrix agents in disguise from the get. And again, after helping all of them, promoting their channels, letting them come for free on the channel, get airtime, they true colors come shining through. Sometimes that's the only way to see it. They say the worst thing about betrayal, it never comes from your enemies. It just this thing, to me, Agent Smith syndrome is so real, and it's going to happen. It's always going to be there. I mean, sometimes it's going to be harder to notice Agent Smith than others. When it came out, yeah, it came out. The most dangerous type of Agent Smith, I think, is the one that you get closest to. So, and that's why some people might say, "Oh, well, you know, when somebody tries to find out too much info that they don't need to find out, that's a dangerous Agent Smith, because it's like they're compiling a profile or something on you, just the way authorities do it on everybody. Everybody has a profile. Since MySpace came in, and even before, once they did the social media thing, man, people created profiles on themselves that the government would never be able to get on anybody by their own admission. By asking them, people are going to always leave stuff out. They're not going to tell you everybody they know. When you build something like social media platforms, especially MySpace, but Facebook took it to the next level with the real names, because now you had people searching for each other from college. And again, college is that place. College is Zombie 101. College is where Agent Smith dwells all day long. It's like a training camp for Smith, where it pops out of students in the middle of class. Any student that tries to think, another student will turn into Agent Smith and try to quell them from questioning the teacher or the programmer, better yet said. So that's what I would say is the more dangerous type of Agent Smith, the one that you don't suspect. It can come out of anybody. And to be mature enough to say, look, I think you've, yeah, it really makes me wonder, man. Another thing too is when I realized that these guys weren't, it's like they hated, it was too much hate coming from them. And that's when I knew something was behind the scene. It wasn't what I was doing. It was me basically um, being myself, and being myself kind of exposed stuff that why am I even around this? I want to be around something different, not these type of people. And under the kindness of helping them, that's what the opening was. People do mistake it for weakness. Sometimes you have to, you know, sometimes what's that saying? I don't want to say it too early because I know these guys listen to every single thing. But yeah, it's they mistake if you give, like, if you give too much leeway, like I did with some of these Agent Smiths. It just it shows me that I'm very important to them when I don't really think about them. Like the pig and Tahoe and those guys. I mean, all you got to do is look at who they're with. When I look at people's significant other and the fact that they're not happy with that, if somebody's happy with their significant other or happy with their life in general, they're not going to act this way toward other people. When Agent Smith comes out, it shows a hollow being, somebody who's been infected. The insides of them, of who they were, is eaten away. They don't remember who they were before the world told them who to be. And now they walk around on autopilot, a zombie, hollow, devoid of self, only waiting for Agent Smith to become the vessel that brings them to life. We notice these people. Some people call them NPCs, whatever. And they try to. I don't think Ta and all of them was really. It's like, it's not about danger. It's about the person. When I look at it, I think it's funny because you know who he has to go back and sleep with. And you say, man, that's a punishment in itself, to know that he has to lay down next to something that it repulses him. More than that, it repulses other people too. I mean, and then you look at who they team up with. The fact that's why I had left and formed a new thing, because I said the best thing to do is try to just distance and say, okay, if they want to come to this, the knowledge kind of scares the zombie away. Knowledge, it can't affect the Agent Smith because reason and all that stuff and logic is just not going to affect the zombie. But those fights, you're right, with Neo and Smith, and he spawns an unlimited amount of agents. So he showcases if you aren't unplugged, you will become an Agent Smith when the time comes. Exactly. You have to have the ability to unplug yourself. When Neo, when he fights, man, it shows you basically got to fly. That's the only thing. That's the only way to get away from Agent Smith, is to use that power of flight. Use that ultimate card to say, okay, that's it. They just keep coming from anywhere. It's kind of like being in a crowd. Crowds can Agent Smith within seconds. We see it in the protests. You see in any protests, the majority are Agent Smith. Because if you think about when I used to see people protest against stuff, and I say to myself, if everybody would have taken the money they would make that day and they put it together and they get like a lodge or a place where everybody can talk about making positive changes peacefully, building a better world, instead of standing outside of a street with signs begging people who have proven to be untrustworthy, to begging them to change the system for them. It's not going to happen. It's never happened. Every time something like that goes on, we see it's like an early warning system. It tells them, okay, they'll change it, but they'll change it in a way that doesn't do anything good. We see this happen over and over again. And what do? They say they're going to change something, and then they just give them some more bread and circuses. And if anybody tries to talk about that, the Agent Smith comes out in the other ones. They start, oh well, it did change something. At least we got this guy back. The Agent Smith is everywhere, and it does kind of affect us more when it comes out of somebody that we thought was cool, because it just shows us that, hey, stuff happens, man. Agent Smith can come out and it's cool. We know that the Matrix, everybody's got a little zombie and all of that. But in this type of way, the way it happened to me, and we saw it with the Jake and then the attack, and it was sort of like something that was deeply hidden, some reason. And I think the pressure that Jamal and I had unknowingly put on with the dog question and stuff that Alexis asked, that was a really good question, because basically, these guys, who knows that other guy too? Brother Ali, Arabianography. Yeah, he knows him pretty well. They used to try to send him to, like, he would make channels and stuff. And I'm saying to myself, like, wow, these guys are making channels talking, and that's great. That's great. They actually, I kind of felt pity for a lot of them, because I said, wow, these guys are making channels for me that are promoting that. It's a good thing in a way, because people would come and hear what I had to say and then realize, oh, the guy that made the video was a nutcase. And that's basically, yeah. And yeah, the Agent Smith, if we don't stay vigilant with our minds, yeah, we can't get, the only time, and this is where Agent Smith, where we see that we have a good defense against Agent Smith, is that we still have a little zombie, but we're not making excuses for it. We're saying, hey man, it's a little bit of coffee zombie, a little bit of energy drink zombie. We know that we could be doing something better, but this is what we do. So right there, we're not letting Agent Smith come out. If Agent Smith came out, he would say, oh, well, coffee, this is good for you. And these energy drinks, just 1 or 2, this and that. It's like, you start to see how the Agent Smith will come and defend, or even that's like a mild Agent Smith will just start to attack. Oh, you're just go on the offensive on him. But we hold it very well. So the fact that we know how Agent Smith works, we know that if we ever try to defend it, and if we're not honest, because Agent Smith syndrome plays on dishonesty, when a person is dishonest with themselves. So if we try to say, well, we're not a little bit zombie, like then now we start lying to ourselves. Remember, Agent Smith thrives on lies. When a person lies to themselves, that's when it can come out, and they start professing that everything they're doing is not wrong, and this is the reason why. And we know, and nobody's living a perfect life, man. Everybody's getting some type of microplastic, drinking a bottle of plastic, water. If a water has a plastic bottle, anybody can look up the studies and see that plastic is everywhere. You're not avoiding it that easily. And if you get tested, it's probably going to come up. So people should test themselves just to see where it's at. So you can try to avoid it. So for somebody to try to say they're not a microplastic zombie, we already know they're delusional. They're partially Agent Smith, because they're over here trying to defend. It's like, bro, they're finding it in clouds. They're finding it in placenta, all types of stuff. And at the point when you see that, and just even telling the person, hey, they're finding, once you realize, once they say a certain word, it's better just to save your energy. Say, okay, yeah, just find a way to exit the conversation and don't deal with Agent Smith. And to know that this person has a severe case of Agent Smith, a severe case. Agent Smith always popping out. That most of the time people are more Smith than they are themselves. So they'll act like they're cool. Anything you say, Agent Smith pop out. They're disagreeing, or why that isn't true, why the official story is correct. That's Agent Smith 24/7. Anybody who tries to bring that out. The most dangerous types. The Agent Smiths in the family are so, it's hurtful. It's hurtful. The Agent Smiths in family can be hurtful because you know that the majority of the family is going to be zombified. One person, that's all I've seen. One person per family. And that's not every family that one person will be awake. Sometimes you see, many times you see most families are just fully zombified, just a family of agents, agents that will tell on other people if you're thinking. We saw that happen with the thing a couple years ago. People were literally, they had things, people were inciting other people, encouraging them to tell on people. Tell on what? The fact that somebody doesn't want to do what they're trying to force on somebody, trying to take away somebody's choice. And with Agent Smith that just pops out of people that are angry, I think I can also see that it's something happened in their life and they're not strong enough to contain it. And that's where, again, when we talk about the laws of stupidity, meaning that someone is trying to help you and they just, it's not their fault. It's they just accidentally make it worse and they don't benefit from it. So it's like, whoa, this person is dangerous without being dangerous. They're just, it's a threat. It's like not knowing, not being aware. So being unaware, that could be classified as being stupid. And the connotation that stupid has created, like it just has this thing where people might think, oh, you're trying to put somebody down or insult them. And it's like, no, it's not an insult. It's a description. It's a description of your behavior. Mr. X, good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you, MD. Yeah, I missed last night's stream because it's been kind of hectic with me right now, but I should be getting back to normal soon. And I don't know. I don't want to get into it too much, but because I don't want to start ripples and this and that. 'Cause that's not what I come here for anyway. But I don't know, man. Some people, I don't understand the thinking here. You know what I mean? I don't get it.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy stuff, man.
I mean, this is a knowledge stream for crying out loud. This is what American Zombies all about, and it's not a place to come and just listen to my problems, listen to me while I bitch, and you guys have to support me or what. That's not what the stream's about. You know what I mean? I come here for knowledge. I'm not coming. Whatever issues I have in my own personal life, that's my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't come here to bring it on here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, there has been some signs that I noticed a while back.
Hmm.
I just never said anything. Alexa says, "Can you be friends with in real life with Agent Smith?" Honestly, I don't think so. We can associate with them, but we have to associate with them. The best thing is to try to put up some type of shield to don't let them know anything, and just if anything, have to agree just to get away, just to get Agent Smith to go back inside of them, because Agent Smith comes out, of course, like the zombie, wants to eat your thoughts, sees you
Yeah.
as a threat, yeah, to the Matrix.
Can I make a comment too on this?
Yeah, yeah,
Because one
please.
thing, me, I don't overtalk people. I try to keep it short and sweet. And one thing I have noticed, let me just say that ever since you've been streaming every day, and a lot of times you've been going solo, the quality and the intellect has like a rocket ship. You know what I mean? It's gone way up. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes, I'm not mentioning any names, but when you let certain people on, it's like you're ready to take off and they're kind of like a weight holding you back. You know what I'm saying? They're like extra weight on the rocket ship that's ready to take off. I noticed that with certain people when they come on. And
Yeah,
that hurts the stream. That really does. I notice it's the quality level. Sometimes when you're just going by yourself, the quality level is so much higher. You know? Um, Of course, if you bring quality people on, then everything changes. But I think that's what, sometimes you got to nip that in the bud a little bit because that can really help destroy the expansion of a stream. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like when I try to make a comment, I try to keep it short. I try to keep it sweet. And if you're making a point, say, "Oh, no, go ahead, MD," and then you might say, "No, go ahead," and then that's fine. I'll go. But I don't sit there blabbing, 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 and over talking you because that kills the quality of the stream. You know what I'm saying? People don't
Yeah,
want to hear that.
yeah.
So I'm just
No,
saying
you're
I've
right.
noticed that. I've noticed that.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks. I noticed that too with certain people coming on. I think I spoke with Scribe one time, and I was telling him, I said, yeah, when Mr. X and I, we were having a great conversation. The stream was going so good. It was such high quality. And both of us were adding in stuff that just was making it better and better. And I forgot who it was that came on. And it just immediately it threw chaos into it. It threw it to where it was like, it started to like kind of detract from it. And it's been different people.
Yeah,
Some
Bama.
people, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Bama, it's like you just can't. I mean, that just pulls any intelligence out of the conversation. It just yeah, he really that's why I was like, it doesn't make sense to have him to come on because deep down
Hmm.
inside, he's just malicious. He
Well, he's
he
part of
is
toilet paper, so I mean, I understand his position. You know what I mean? He's
yeah,
strictly
yeah,
toilet paper. He doesn't hide it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. They're at the
Yeah.
point where I think it's actually in a way it's embarrassing to even be associated with them. That's why it's like it's best to just say, "Oh no, I've experienced what they
Hmm.
were about and that experience showed me that that's not the people I need to be associating with."
Yeah, it
And
doesn't get you anywhere.
yeah, and if anybody is, if they push it, "Oh, well, what is it?" That's when I realize at that point the person asking those questions either it has to be like, okay, either I would say that the person understood like what we're saying and just
Hmm.
wants to stay on that topic like, oh well, listen, that, and then that gives us the like the red flag or the signal to say, all right, this person is not going to talk about anything meaningful at this point. They're going to only talk about the people that we don't want to talk about. And that psychological understanding is extremely important. It's
Yeah.
extremely important, yeah, to know when to basically cut the losses. And anybody that reviews yesterday's stream can see that when Jamal came on, we had a great conversation, man. I mean, this stream is in, Alexis and Black Circle are the ones that today, we're doing Agent Smith syndrome tomorrow.
Yeah.
Uh, was the Matrix a documentary type of stream? I'm trying to think of a good title for it tomorrow. And these are the streams where okay, we can learn. And then with what happened, I think it was something that was marinating, that was there. It
Yeah.
didn't just pop up from a daily experience. The daily experience was the catalyst, I think.
Hmm.
And then that what happened when Jamal and I was on a few days ago, uh, that was after the Jake stream. It got a little intense with some of the questions, and I think that might have stayed in a place that that with the daily problem with whoever he encountered, that just added on top of it, and Agent Smith just came out. He couldn't contain Agent Smith anymore. So it was
Yeah.
when somebody's saying, they're there all the time, and then they eventually say like, oh well, they didn't like the shows or this topic, and you say, well, okay,
But then why are you here?
now that says a lot in between the lines to say, so you were
Yeah.
there as basically Agent Smith then, because if you didn't want to be there, you could always hop off. You don't even got to say, oh, I'm hopping off, because that kind of jumps in the middle of the show. We understand that you just disappear, and it's like, yeah,
Hmm.
it's like it's better. I've noticed that on shows myself, like unless I'm the guest or something and saying,
Hmm.
all right, thanks. But if you're on there and they're in the middle of a conversation with somebody and you just hop off the panel, there's no need to interrupt to say, all right, guys, I'm going to be out. It's like, no, that's not being self-aware.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're
I
right.
really think that's what's going on. I wouldn't give too much credit like it's some mastermind plot because I don't think it's that sophisticated. I think it's exactly what you just said right there. It's being completely unaware. And that's probably what leads to getting into fights with people in real life. Because when you're unaware like that, you know what I mean? You're going
Hmm.
to do ridiculous things, just
Yeah.
talking to random women who are married at wherever and getting into a fight or a verbal altercation. There's people out there like that. Um, but yeah, it's I mean, like my motivation, the whole thing I come on the streams for, I like the topics, I like everything like that. But I've read your books. And I really, when I have something in my mind, a question that I'm not sure about, I like to get your insight. And that's really what my motivation is because I have a lot of respect for your work. You know what I'm saying? So I know I can get something, some knowledge out of you. You know what I'm saying? On the topic that I'm interested because, you're well versed and you do a lot of your research. You do heavy research into your books. So that's my motivation. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
that's all
appreciate
I'm
it.
here for is for knowledge. That's why I support the stream. That's why I've been supporting the stream for years. There's no other reason behind it. But like I said, I don't overtalk people. And if you ask me a question, I'll give you a direct answer. I'm not gonna give you some fluff or some nonsense. You know what I mean? You know? It's like, you ask me a question and say, MD, you always do this. You always like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Just,
Yeah.
you know, be a
Yeah.
man, answer the question. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a straight answer. And if I don't know it, I'll just say I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we ask for is just honesty, and we want to learn.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for people like that watch that can learn that, okay, people can have disagreements. Doesn't have to get too crazy. It's
Mhm.
just saying, okay, now they decided that they will move forward. They're not going to
Sure.
yeah, not going to like verbally abuse or anything like that. It's just to say, hey, this is how you avoid certain situations
Mhm.
when somebody might have something going on in their life, or maybe they weren't genuine to begin with, and Agent Smith comes out, and then you can backtrack. Usually when the truth comes out in that way, it's very revealing, because then it's
Mhm.
like, oh, so you felt this way before. I can understand somebody having just a bad day, or even like a previous incident, like with Jamal grilling him and myself
Mhm.
with the questions about the dog and the owner, and putting it in context. Because I thought about that today when I spoke with Scribe. I said, yeah, I said, it's really, you start to look back at it, and you start to pay attention to things that you might have let slid and not, addressed when they happened. And you start to say, okay, so then you realize that it has not as that much to do with the other person. It has a lot to do with not staying attentive to conversations that happened in the past when
Mhm.
things should have been addressed, to say, wait a second, right here. So what you're saying here is basically like when Scribe hopped on, it's the same thing against the whole game. And, like you were saying, it's like people still going and basically cold approaching, harassing, whatever name they want to come up with it.
And I want to comment on that real
Yeah,
quick
please, please.
because, looking back, and it just occurred to me, to be honest with you. It's not something I've been thinking about, but, hearing you speak always, opens my mind. That's why I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Um, Yeah, when I look back at your old streams, on Smash and so forth like that, and the BP truths and everything like that, now that I see it, I don't think any of those got majority, not all, but majority, I don't think ever wanted the truth. All they really wanted, because like in your heyday, when things were really popping, you were going right after the dating coaches. You were attacking them. You were making the cartoons. I mean, you were hitting them hard, and that's really all they wanted. Because they felt so taken advantage of or like they were lied to. They wanted that revenge factor on those dating coaches. I don't think they ever really wanted the truth. I don't think that ever really mattered to them. I really believe that. That's why I think it was so popular because the guys who just did the dating coaches, followed the rules, bought the courses, and failed miserably, of course. You know what I mean? That doesn't work. They just want somebody to get like a revenge. You were their revenge on these guys. And I don't know, you could disagree with me, but I don't know how you feel about that. But I just don't think they were ever really interested in the BP troops. I don't think that was ever their motivation. But how do you feel about that?
A lot of them, I think, can fit that category because I think they didn't have any way to oppose these guys. Like when from Germany, Demick, he said they nuked his name, P. Demick. He he's I think he comes on as woke now, woke something, and like WOLK E or something like that, wokey, or I gotta ask him how to pronounce it. But he had paid the money for one of the courses, and then he paid another $100 to be in a Facebook group for life, which they threw him out of because he started asking too many questions. And he realized that it was the stream that I used to do was the only place that people could come to and talk about these guys because they had such a big network of grifters. You'd see most of them were connected. And the one thing I noticed is that anybody going against their grift, that was number one. They had to make sure that that's covered up. And I think the fact that I had no fear of them, these guys in a way were, I think, afraid a little. They were
Hmm.
bullied because everybody knows they try to bully me, do all of that stuff. But they didn't realize that they weren't dealing with a customer that was easy to just manipulate and do what they did to the people, which was really messed up, taking advantage of them, threatening them, intimidating them. They couldn't do that to me. And the fact that I'm already a man way before they were, they never became men too. So I pointed that out. And it was sort of like having an elder, uncle, somebody in the family that defends them, that say, listen, you're not going to do that here. I'm going to simply show like an adult. When I made that point, I said, why, if there's some magic thing, why, when you look at somebody that says they get all of this, these beautiful women or whatever, why is their wife not attractive? That brings the whole thing, like, that was such a crashing statement. It was showing people just how powerful the truth is. Simple truth. As I go, really? Why don't you just use those magical words you claim to teach people to get somebody that's better than the person you're with? And the obvious answer is because they can't. They can't. And that when you present those types of truths, you don't have to, you never have to defend the truth. The truth's like a lion. You let it go, it defends itself. So it now you start to see, like you were saying, they didn't want to learn too much more truths. They just wanted to keep, they didn't want to mature into a man, even though I
Right.
was showing them the way to say, look, you can be able to see these things. It's actually, it's a funny thing now when you look at these guys trying to say, oh, you need to do this, you need to be alpha, and we saw when these are all the same guys that followed Andrew Tate and all of these guys that I saw from the beginning saying, wait a minute, that guy, you must be out of your mind. You must be, it's like you're following somebody who openly now they have him admitting to how he manipulated people, just took money for stuff, imitating like if they were typing on the keyboard as if they were the woman and the girls on the screen. I mean, the fact that they said this on video and people still even watch this guy's fight. I mean, I don't know if that was a humiliation ritual or what, but
Hmm.
just to even care at that point, to say when somebody comes in, hey, did you hear what this? It's like, yeah,
I
stay
know.
away from that type of stuff. And that whole sphere, the reason when I first left it and started Wisdom Radio to turn into this channel was when I started to see that, like, these guys like Tahoe and them were actually defending predators, basically. people
Mhm.
that, taking the pictures and stuff. And it's like, wait, they're admitting to that. So it's not even like I'm saying, hey, so and so is doing this. I'm saying he is admitting to it. I think there's another one. He
Can I just add one more thing to that?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't, you said your courage, but I think there's an important element that you're also missing. And I think it's your ability to articulate your arguments. I think they're very powerful, obviously, because you're a writer. You wrote books. I've seen your work with the writings. It's much different than the streams. I've seen your full fledged work on the writings. So when you combine that with fearlessness and the attack on the dating coaches and a pool of men who've been taken advantage of, that's a very powerful combination because like a lot of guys could complain about dating coaches, but they couldn't articulate it well. You know what I'm saying? Their words wouldn't have as much power. You're good at using the words to articulate, to have a real force. Like even some of the names you come up with, of some of these dating coaches, the nicknames you give them.
Mhm,
A lot of guys can't come up with that. So I'm just saying that's a very powerful thing. So I think that's why it was so effective. You know what I mean? It's part of your. I'm probably not saying it right, but it's in line with your ability, your writing ability too, the
mhm,
ability to write books. So it's kind of like a double whammy, and I think that's why it resonated and it while it may not have because there's limits on how much you can affect that industry. Obviously, it's just going to crumble on itself because it got saturated, but it's enough to make it a threat. You know what I'm saying? When
mhm.
somebody who can articulate very well their arguments, that scares people. And that's kind of, for them, that's dangerous. You know what I mean? And oh, we got a threat versus somebody who maybe can't articulate. Say, I hate dating coaches. They suck. They don't know what the hell they're doing. But, whoever, just an angry guy and blow them off.
Yeah, they're
But when
not
some,
giving a reason. Yeah.
exactly. But when you can articulate it and you can do the research, like, because you're good at research, obviously, that's how you wrote your books, like Nightmare on Sperm Street, and then you can find out about people. You know what I'm saying? It's like an explosive thing. And the only reason I'm saying this is it's I think I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but it's good to be aware of that because if you go after somebody, it's different than say me going after somebody because I might not be able to articulate it as well as you do. My words wouldn't have had as much sting. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Okay.
As
I hear what
of
you. Yeah.
somebody your caliber, your words would have more sting, more power because you're able to form them in a much better attack. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't mean, I don't know how, yeah, I don't want to be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
I just would say like you're more of a threat than I would be. I think I would be dismissed as, all right, this guy's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't really say it the right way. You know what I mean? It wouldn't resonate with people as deeply, you know?
I definitely hear what you're saying. I think it's
Yeah.
more the articulation. I think it comes from having a lot of conversations with people. Some of it could be natural talent. I do think, like you said, the writing, the editing, and all of that adds to it. But
Hmm.
looking at it like with a science aspect, I want to add in that I think it does sharpen skills in some way. But when
Okay.
what somebody could argue against it is saying, okay, well, Stephen King and other guys, they're not really great speakers. Like when you hear them talk, you start to be like, okay, definitely people helped him writing this book. Uh, the movies and all of that. He basically seems more and more as I go into it like a front man. Not saying that he can't write good. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
who knows if these guys wrote what they wrote. I've met many authors, and what I realize is a lot of authors, even though they started writing a book, they may have had a lot of help because I used to wonder when I would talk to people and say, "Well, wait a minute, you wrote this over here in the book," and they wouldn't kind of recall it in a way. So, as a person that has written several books, if somebody brings up a point in a book and starts to explain it, yeah, some of the books I've wrote 4 or 5 years ago, um, but I'm still going to have a basic understanding of the part they're talking about. Okay, yeah, this chapter, okay, when I said this, um, people can forget. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But it's like you tend to know more. Like when the book is like it becomes like your baby, like your child. If you're really, you're saying, okay, I remember the day. uh,
Hmm.
the child was born and this and that, and the first steps, the first chapter, the this and that. You can definitely have relations to it if you care about it. Most people, I notice, the telltale sign of when they don't know a lot about their book is that either they don't care about it or they didn't really fully write it. Because if anybody can ask me about certain parts of books, mostly any part really, and I could say, yeah, okay, this is how I came up with that. And most authors I notice don't do that. So
Hmm.
even though they can write good, some of them people would of course say, if it's as far as financially, yeah, they write better because they've created more money. I think that's one thing, and that matters because everybody's got to eat. But then there's the thing of writing where it actually helps somebody. It actually is powerful to the point where it's like, wow, this is this is real. This helped my life in understanding this. It wasn't just a fantasy island read or something like that. And I think part of it too is a natural talent,
Yeah.
having to deal with confrontations. Now, it's not just having to deal with confrontations, because you see a lot of people that deal with confrontations, they get introverted. And I would say if a thing does exist as an ambivert, I would call myself that, because I like going out to places and doing certain things if I have the money to do it. But if I also, there's times where I really enjoy being by myself and editing and studying and going through
Right.
the stuff for the book. I really enjoy doing the human origins book and stuff. Scribe's a little concerned because he's like, look, man, you're really presenting some evidence that's like, he goes, it's out there on a limb. But the more he will battle with me, and
Hmm.
he's such a good friend, like a brother. He will uh test me, and he's like, listen, if you're gonna go, like, just like you do, like a good friend, Mr. X, when you're like, hey man, you're gonna
Absolutely
go on these
appreciate
other
that.
shows, right? And that's what Scribe tells me.
Yeah.
Just when you told me that, we could see these things in good people, to say now, Mr. X, I know he's looking out for my best interest. We're looking at each other the way
Yeah.
how we should look at each other, like parents in a way. And you are a parent, so you're way ahead of us in that. So you understand it even more than we do. I'm learning it to say, wow, all those times when my parents were, it was basically about being mature and responsible. And it seems harsh when I look back at it now and I say, wow, they had some, it was tough. It was tough. And when you're like, you're gonna go on other shows, and Scribe's like, when we're talking, and he's like, listen, they're gonna come at you with a lot of this stuff. And so what's your response for this? And I will give him the response, and he's like, okay. And then
Hmm.
sometimes he'll shift off into something else, like with the earth thing, and I'll say, well, I have to stay based in science with this. I said, so the way you're shifting, I said, I understand that, yes, that deals with the fabric of existence itself, which goes beyond physical genetics. So now we have, I said, what I'm focusing on is the human organism, the physical human organism. How is that created? How does that how are we adapting to this environment? And the more we look into this, we start to see that, yeah, this did not happen. It cannot happen by chance. The more you try to simulate the chance model, the more it doesn't work. The more you see that there's systems that have to be fully integrated in place and then turned on with a genetic switch. I said, now this is biological science. It's biological anatomy. Anybody can look it up and say, oh, yes, there's certain genes that they're finding out that switch certain things on and off, and they work in this way. For these things to have being created by random mutation or uh, the myth of natural selection is just extremely unscientific ways of trying to explain something scientifically with no science at all, would just basically believe me. And we see this in the evolution thing. So I let Scribe know when we're talking. I said, look, it's good that I have to, be on this, because if you try to talk about even a different factor, whether it be continents existing outside of the regular map, which makes a lot of sense. But I have to stay focused on the science of biology and genetics and saying, look, this right here cannot be formed. You know, I would have to go into stuff like, okay, so what do you think? This was created on the ground in a forest or a desert? It just, so in other words, literally a lot of the thinking people don't realize goes back to the evolutionary model, that we don't realize how deeply that embedded into us subconsciously. Like we might think, oh no, it didn't affect me. But in actuality, when I look at a lot of people's like what they think about life starting, it does have a still a remnants, a flavor of that evolution thing of, okay, so where do you think these humans came from? Do you think like, are you like, did they just pop up? Where do you think the rest of the life came from?
Mhm.
And when I look at genetic signals, like when I was speaking with Scribe earlier, I said, you're technical much more than I. So if you look at a computer chip, you know that there's places when they make certain computer chips, it has to be like a dust-free facility. You got to walk through certain barriers to make sure it's extremely dust-free when making the computer chips. And he said, yeah. I said, so if somebody were to try to say a computer chip could be made in a regular factory, you know that that's untrue. No, you need to have specific protocols, very strict, to keep this to be made in a very close to sterile environment. Just the way when you look at organisms on Earth or anywhere, you just start to say, wait a minute, this is not by chance. And then you add in consciousness, and that takes it to the other level. And it's like, it just really, yeah, Azraron, good to see you, man. And Alexis, yeah, you know what? I think we have no choice, Alexis, but to be associates. I don't know about friends, but yeah, we have friends, and then the Smith will come out. I think we're already friends with Agent Smiths that we don't even know are Agent Smiths. Or it's also, we got to remember, sometimes I think there's levels to where if Agent Smith can come through of a friend, then maybe, because we see with ourselves that we can be strong enough to prevent Agent Smith from coming out. We're not going to let Agent Smith possess us and use us. So it's like, if a political thing comes up, we already know, like, hey, what? It's like, you think that your vote, you pushing that button is going to put this person in office. And then what are they going to do? You can't talk to them right now, right? You know why, right? Because they don't care. It's like that's an illusionary thing there. When you're basically voting is like such a psychological type of warfare, in my opinion. When you think about getting somebody to do that, it's to say, okay, we're running this country and we're in power. And now to stay in power, to do anything to prevent anything to lessen confrontation, because we already won. We're running the show. So how do we lessen the confrontation? Okay, we're all together and you're not in power. I'm in power right now. We're going to act like we're going to let them vote to see which one of us they want in power. So we know we're working together, and regardless who is running it, we're both benefiting regardless. So we know that we're running everything. We're basically running a country that's exploiting and extorting the citizens, or denizens is probably a better word. And when you think about extort is the synonym for tax. If somebody says, well, what does tax mean? Well, it's forcing somebody to pay for something that they don't want to pay for, that they don't have a choice. And you say, wait a minute, really? Is that it's like, that's extortion. Yeah, it is. Now, this is why they had such a big thing about taxation without representation. That's the illegal thing. Oh, you got to be represented by who? By a guy that's given $20 billion to Argentina? That's saying that he's going to get money back from the Minnesota Somalian governor incident? That person? The whole system of, you know what? All right, you know what? Let's just vote for somebody else. that strategy quells rebellion with a word. And then if they get really mad, let them blow off some steam and carry some signs and yell and scream. And then we'll have the other people, the other poor people that we pay and we work halfway to, you know, to exhaustion, the law enforcement. I mean, when you look at how stressed out some law enforcement people are, you can't help but to realize, like, yo, this person is running on 100% for like years, not even just a couple weeks or days. They are on overdrive. So now how can, and when this is something that people don't think about when looking at, even soldiers, being an ex-soldier, like with Jake and all of that, and even the stuff that this guy was saying, trying to insult us, he don't realize, like me, myself, I don't get insulted from that. I'm looking at it like, bro, you're somebody that I let come on the platform, treated him well, did all of this stuff, and now this is how you act. You're attacking. It's like you're attacking something in a way that's very illogical. It's you.
Can I make some logic out of that?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
please,
sorry. I wanted to,
please, yeah.
because it occurred to me as we were talking, like I was telling, how you're good at vocalizing and attacking these dating coaches. In your opinion, do you think the fact that you stopped that stream or you stopped engaging in that and it was so effective and everybody got so much joy out of it that, in a sense, some of these guys might think it's a betrayal that you left that space, kind of? You know what I'm saying? To pursue American Zombie and so forth and the wisdom. Like they feel a little bit betrayed because you were like their leader for the revenge on these dating coaches. And now they feel like they don't have their leader anymore, like they've been betrayed. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
maybe that
I
turned out
could
the Agent
see.
Smith.
Boom Boom said he felt that way.
Hmm.
Boom Boom and Shiva, um, they were cool. I'm not mad at them. And basically, it was around the time when Scribe came in. And Scribe is more mature. I mean, these guys, they were young, 18, 20. Boom Boom was a kishless virgin, Filipino. And he was a good guy. And I saw that. And Boom Boom was short. He was around 5'4", I think he said. Shiva was like 5'7" or 5'8". But they were very small. I think Shiva was like 130 something or 140. Very,
Hmm.
very light. And it's like I hear what you're saying. They could feel that way. And I think I may have explained more than once that if you feel that way, you haven't matured fully into a man. Now, it's okay to feel that way. See, people can confuse. They might say, "Oh, well, you said I'm not a man if I." No, I'm not saying. I'm saying you might not. See, people quick to always take the worst of it. You could be, and it could just be hurt. It hurts sometimes, but what does that hurt come from? What do I really expect a guy, like, it's sort of like being at a train station and you got $8 to get on this train and a guy's standing there for the next train and you're like, man, you'd have to walk home, get the other two, you're not going to make it on time, and he's like, here's the $2. You get on the train, it's like, wow, man, thank you so much. And you leave, and he's at the stop. You don't know where this guy's going, if you're ever going to see him again in your life. But you hold something and saying, like, man, that guy should have helped me, because he had more knowledge about the subway system. He could have told me, where I can connect with the other train. So now it becomes, instead of appreciating what the guy did, it becomes the true character of the person starts to come out, and that's what they really don't like. It's not that they're going to use the disguise of, oh, you abandoned us, right? It's like,
Yes.
really? No, I left you alone with yourself and you didn't like what you saw. So you
Mhm.
hate yourself so much, you're so at war with yourself, that when I left, that's when you notice that. And you immediately, instead of working on yourself and being a man, you immediately look to blame someone else. Just what
Yes.
an immature thing is. Now, even in saying that, some of these guys won't get it. But even if there's 1 out of 10, that's a pretty high percent, because that's like 10 out of 100. When usually it might be 1 out of 100. So it's not even 1%. It's 0.1. And I try to tell these guys, like, look, it's hard, but that's what you got to do every day. You got to do something not to be stupid, because stupidity is relentless. Ignorance and stupidity are hunting for us every moment of every day. And it kind of almost, is close to the little angel devil on the shoulders, but I don't think that's a good analogy, the way people try to put that, but more like many different emotions that are behind us or in front of us that pull us. And we're not even the player sitting at the chessboard moving the chess pieces. We're something that's influencing the player to move the pieces, representing the king and the other pieces on the chessboard. So we're like so much behind the scene. We're like the boss of a boss of a boss of a boss. And kind of like when you think of, okay, so what the heck am I? And am I really just one thing? So as we learn more, we start to say, okay, the cells that are my physical body that I thought was my physical bodies are less than half of me. So I'm about, physically, I'm half of what is here as far as human cells. The other half are bacterial microbiomes that are not human. So it's like, holy smokes. Now, decades ago, not even 100 years ago, people wouldn't have, came to that. Now, ancient people might have known this. Like, oh yeah, man, like, they put it in a way that's hard to decipher. It's like, I tried to explain to Scribe once, and he could be right. I don't know. But I told him, I said, look, man, you know that myth of the Thunderbird? I said that, and he goes, oh yeah, Native Americans. I said, yeah. I said, but think about it, man. I said, don't you think if somebody in a tribe today saw a silver plane flying over, and some planes, when they fly, you'll hear the sound. You'll hear like the rocket sound, like almost like a light form of thunder. And especially if the plane is going fast enough to break the sound barrier, you'll see the thing. So then now that's really like thunder. And before you stop hearing it, because now it's flying faster than the sound, but you will hear the shock wave, I think. And so if native people that never seen a plane before saw that, they would, okay, it's flying, it's got wings. So it's not even like it's a helicopter. It's got wings the way a bird has wings, a tail feather, all of that stuff. So couldn't it be that they saw a plane that was giving off a sound the way planes do, that sound like thunder? That's the Thunderbird, not a bird that flies like that sound. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't be a bird. I'm just saying, don't you see where it could actually be a mechanical thing that they were describing? And they didn't have the ability to really describe them because they never seen it before. It's like, how do you explain an elephant to somebody that never seen an elephant? Do you really think that person's going to believe you? If that person's skeptical, they're going to be like, wait a second. So you're going to explain two things that I've never seen before. I've never seen an elephant, and I've never seen a dragon. When they explain the dragon, after knowing what a crocodile and a monitor lizard looks like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, the fire breathing part, that's a little out there. But if there's a creature that what you're saying, yeah, that actually seems very, very realistic. The elephant, you'd be like, wait a minute, an elephant? What the trunk coming on the tusk? It's like, no, that I don't think that's real. I think the dragon is the real creature. So
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I just want to
thanks,
say.
man.
Yeah.
So this type of thinking, like, and going back to what you were saying, how, because I do, and part of me kind of still feels for Shiva and Boom Boom and Remy. Remy was cool. He left on good terms. We were still cool, but the other guys started pressurizing them so much. The Agent Smiths, they were trying to scare them and intimidate them. And when Scribe came on, now I was basically battling the dating coaches by myself, like just not really battling them, but like basically doing talks, anybody
Mhm.
come on. And the thing was, they weren't, and I want to say part of it, like what you're saying about the books and all of that stuff. Yeah, I think that did have a lot to do with it. I think self-educating, but also part of it, as much as I don't really want to, just say, yeah, part could be natural. I remember Boom Boom trying to say that, like, you've got very good genetics in that department. But I think that with speaking and cadence and all of that, that is something I see people can change. So somebody that you might not think can really speak that well, if they work at it, they can speak a lot. Now, as far as the intellect, I think that could be something, maybe that could be cultivated too, because it's
Yeah.
sort of like the more you read, the more you experience, the more people you talk with. And remember, when I was 18, I met so many people when I was in the military. When you're in basic training and AIT, advanced individual training, you're meeting guys getting ready to prepare, all of these months of training to become a professional soldier in the field that you chose or the field that you were able to get into. So now I'm meeting people from Wyoming, from Idaho, from Utah, all these other places. Like, wow, it's amazing. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. He says, how bad is Scribes Agent Smith in regard to Tupac? You are hilarious, bro. Thank you, man. Agent Smith on Tupac, bro, I have to run. Like when it comes out, I got to do the Neo in the subway, running for the telephone. Yeah, it is strong, bro. Yeah, we got to talk about Scribes Agent Smith coming out when we talk about Tupac. Yeah, I think he wants to do a stream, but that's gonna be, man, that's gonna be a tough stream. Tomorrow we'll do
Yeah.
the Matrix documentary one. Mr. X, you had something?
No, no, no.
Or
I'm just listening. I'm just
as
listening.
Rune, you had something?
Yeah, MD, I just wanted to say you're doing a very great job with American Zombie. Concentrate on this only. Like the Smash TV, it's like this forms the root and the foundation for Smash TV. Smash TV is like the branch. Like we went deep in Smash TV, but with American Zombie we can go deeper, MD. You're doing a good job with this. That covered only one aspect of life. We can't cover everything with Smash TV, but with American Zombie we can cover different topics. So concentrating on this is only better, MD.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. But I do hear what Mr. X is saying about uh those guys. I think some of them do feel
Betrayed.
a little betrayed. But as we look at it, it's not betrayal, because again, we know that they're going to say betrayal to try to that immediately makes a person that is not thinking unknowingly shift blame immediate, like, oh, wait a minute. So betrayal. So whoever you're telling me is betrayal, I'm automatically getting a bias thinking that's a bad person without even knowing who it is. So like with Caduceus, Jake the Church Zombie, good to see you, man.
Mhm.
So Jake the Church Zombie says, when did Caduceus become Agent Smith? And that happened around the time with Tony Bruno, when they saw that koala. It was like around early 2022, and he had a channel and everything, and a lot of it behind the scene was koala and them. But the fact that they wanted me to do like dating coach stuff, and I was like, well, you crazy? And then they actually tried to intimidate me. And that's when it got kind of funny, because I'm looking at it like it's kind of like people coming up to a lion, like a hyena, even, and not knowing that I'm about to tear them, like without a problem. Remember, one lion might have a problem with 10 hyenas, but two lions can hold off over 20. This is a fact. But the lion can't seem, and this is why I think that's another reason why people would come on the stream, because they saw the way I would laugh at this stuff. It was like a lion playing with jackals and hyenas and
Yes.
wild dogs, and no matter what happens, I'm still the top king. And I'm not trying to proclaim I'm king. That's the thing. I'm just chilling. Like, oh yeah, it's like you can go pick on the wild dogs and the jackal. It's like it's like kind of like that Christopher Walken thing. He says sometimes the lion has to show people he's the lion, why he's the lion. And I don't like to do that. So people can see that I never try to bully people or let people come on. Scribe is like the fox. So together, the lion and the fox become extremely, extremely powerful because I don't see the traps. I trust people right away.
Yes, I have to agree with that right there.
Yeah.
I
So
agree with that.
the power in that is that when I do have a problem with somebody, I can just run out there and take them out the way the lion does. So I don't see the traps. So then the person can get close to me, try to find out whatever, this and that. But when they realized I wasn't afraid of anything, I have my name on my books. Anybody, you know, hey, I'm an author and I'm a radio show host. So if somebody were to say, look, I'll pay you to come on this show. Okay, cool. I even said that about 21 studios at the time. I said, look, if you pay me, this was when in 2020. So this is when I was, like you were saying, very, very relevant. And I go, look, if they're going to, like, I said, I'm not trying to come and speak on stage, but if they're going to say, all right, we'll give you like, say 20 grand. I said, 10 grand. Nah. I said, I'm not really, I said, I don't want to go down there and speak on stage. And then George Bruno tried to, like, he just put on the tap dancing shoes and tried to get me to go. He's like, oh, well, you know, they'll promote you. I said, I don't need promotion. I said, I ain't in this to get promoted because I was doing everything for free back then in 2020. I wasn't even monetized, and I could have been monetized. I had like over 2,000 or something subs. I was just doing a service, and I realized again, sometimes if you do that, they're not going to appreciate it. And they really, to a point, a little bit they did, but the problem was people were hearing stuff that I thought was common knowledge. And they were like, wait a minute, this is like God level type dating knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm saying, so wait a minute. So you didn't see, and I tell people, look, we all get got. Everybody gets got. Any guy, he's just not being, everybody buys a dinner or does something or hangs out with a chick. And you know that if the chick wanted to have sex, you'd say, yeah. But you're not going to say you wasted time, and you know, because your time is the most valuable thing. And, you know, I mean, I went to dinners and did, you know, stuff, but, you know, as you learn being around women, I think that with the not sexual women, the fact that I was always around women in some sense with family and also just life and work. I worked in the mall, all of that stuff. It showed me stuff that even though I wanted to ignore it out of probably stupidity, I couldn't ignore it over time. And also to understand you can't make it, let it make you bitter, because that'll destroy you too. So, you know, I was just, stupidity in a way saved me on a lot of stuff with women too, and laziness and temper. I remember I would get into arguments and be like, no, that's it. It's over. It's like, give my pictures back. I mean, a few girls were like, wait a minute. So I was like, look, I don't care. She was, oh, you ripped up a picture of us. And I'm like, because I don't like you anymore. And I was immature to an extent because I didn't realize that, look, when you love somebody, you're going to love them forever, most likely. You can't be with them, but you're still going to love them in some way. And women know this a lot better than men. So with men, what I realized, even with talking with Scribe, I said, to me, again, a lot of these guys, when they try to say betrayal, whatever, I said, I did help them. We know that it's something they need to work on for themselves. I said, but also, I said, if you think of you having a daughter, I wouldn't want my daughter to be with any of these guys. You know, and this is me not, it's funny in a way because the truth is always funny. The truth has humor that is healing. And what these guys got to understand, it's like, bro, you have to, when I told Dippin, I said, man, you're creepy I said, the woman saying a guy's creepy is a different scale. But when a guy says you're creepy, that's a whole other creepy meter. You're a creepy dude, man. You need to work on your vocal, on your voice. Same thing with, you know, and Armor, Azaroo met me through Armor. And you've heard him talk before. You know, he has a very strong Middle Eastern accent. I told him, I said, look, your girl talks to you. It's like, as soon as you open your mouth, straight yellow cab. You know, I was like, you have to work on it. And then he's
Yeah.
like, he used to drive a cab in Southern California for like 10 years. And he told me, he goes, oh yeah, he used to sound worse. I was like, holy smoke. And Arm is such a nice, like, he's a genuine person, like almost not as an insult, like saying childlike. I'm saying childlike, like friendly, like childhood friendly type of, like he's very easy to get along with in some ways. But with Dippin, and Armor's voice was in no way as bad. Dippin is just like you talking. I think he got mad when I said he reminded me of Calibos from the first Clash of the Titans, and but he does. Alexis says even Spicoli was a voice cell. May he rest in peace. Yes, may Spicoli. Yeah, man, that it was just. Oh man, I tell you, time, and that's it lets me you agree with the saying, if you're good at something, never do it for free. In a way, that's saying, and it's the reason I agree with that is not fully for, it's more than just money in getting, you should get paid what you're good at. You should get paid for what you're doing. But also part of it says that people, when you appreciate, when it costs something, it brings a little more appreciation, and especially if the price is where somebody can determine it, where they could say, look, like when you go to somewhere and they say, well, what are you working with, how much can you, whatever so I'm going to help the guy. And then people that, other people will pay different things. They'll say, you know what, hey, I appreciate what you're doing for people. That's how goodness works. I mean, it's a hard way to work it, but yeah, I think that you should, if you are good at something, yeah, because you got people, you got to charge. You can't do it for free all the time. I think that you should give some stuff. Like, that's why I said, you know what, who knows how long we got, right? We see Spicoli, Saint Spicoli sell. Saint Spicoli he used to come, it just, when I think about him not being, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that ain't around anymore. But yeah, it just it
You
gets
know what
me
it
to
is, the free though? Can I just mention that?
the
It's
what?
more if when you say about giving away information for free.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just you have to be more discernment on who you give it to. You have to know it's just like having a friendship. You got to know the person first, before you can develop a trusting relationship with somebody. You know what I mean? You got to learn their character before you give out before you try and help them. You know what I'm saying? To know if they're the type of person who's worthy of that help.
Yeah. Well, that's one way. And then the other way is being able to say, look, I'm good at what I do. And it's not like some people will think they're good at what they do, but they're not really good at what they do. I know I'm good at what I do. Anybody can, I could say, look, if you have a radio show, I can come on the radio show and we can have a conversation about something. And it's not like, who's got the bigger whatever. It's sort of like, hey, if you're going to acknowledge my skill. If you don't acknowledge it, then you're just showing that you're in denial. And I'm not saying that other people don't have skill. I'll say, oh no, this guy's a pretty good radio host. I think I don't just think, I'm showing from my record of doing radio. I think I do radio just as good, even better. It's like this person is being helped by many other people, has a studio, whatever. I said, I'm doing this by myself. So I'm not saying that to say that, you should give me a higher score because of that. I'm saying, no, I'm doing the same amount of stuff, if not more. So I'm showing you right there on where I'm at. And I'm acknowledging that we both have skill, but they're going to acknowledge this. It's like a guy who can build an airplane. He doesn't have to be licensed. If he can build it, he can build it. Now, to sell it and all of that, yeah, he's going to need the license and everything. But he can also work for a company. Or, I mean, the skill really speaks, man. Jake the Church Zombie, Jake the Church Zombie, man. Thank you for the support, brother. Jake the Church Zombie says, thoughts on Nick Fuentes joking about wanting to explore Holy smokes. What? Wanting to explore black. So Nick Fuentes, thoughts on Nick Fuentes joking about wanting to explore. This is crazy. Black men. I bring this up to his fan base, and a bunch of Agent Smiths pop out. Holy smokes! Holy, and all of those Agent Smiths, you know where they're popping out from, bro. They're coming right out of the closet. It's like, holy smoke. Mr. X, you got any thoughts on this, man? This is
I can't
great.
read it. I can't read the whole thing.
It says thoughts on, it's Jake the Church Zombie. He says,
Mhm.
thoughts on Nick Fuentes joking about wanting to explore black men. He brings this up to his fan base, Jake the Church Zombie does, and a bunch of Agent Smiths pop out. That's what the comment he just,
I don't know what to make of that, to be honest with you. I just think that Nick Fuentes is just an act, it's just a big act.
You think he got hacked and it's somebody else?
No, he's just a big act, I guess. He's just
An act, an act. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
said, hack,
He's just
hack.
acting,
Yeah, no.
just to get
Jake
views
the
and get.
Church Zombie, man. I appreciate that, man. That
Mhm.
I've heard about the grinder and stuff like that. The Agent Smiths on there, yeah, we know it. They're popping out the closet. Yeah, these guys are, and that's what I noticed when I was doing the stuff. Also, what Mr. X, what you were saying, when some of these guys, when they try to say, when I came and started this new channel, that yeah, the Agent Smiths, a lot of them there, like you were saying, you don't think they were there for the truth. It was more like a revenge. And a lot of them tried to use me
Yes.
for revenge, and I'm like, look, the only reason that I really roasted and did some stuff was basically because the dudes, a lot of them, all of them basically, were really not good people. Their behavior was horrendous. The bullying was really wrong of what they did.
Bullying. You just said it right there. You just nailed it right there.
Yeah.
It's like a
And
guy
they
getting
couldn't,
bullied, and he says, "Oh, here's my bodyguard, MD." Now, what are you gonna say? You know what I mean? I think that's what they wanted. That's what they expected
yeah,
from you.
Harkey tried to do, he would try, and the sad thing was they would try to instigate stuff. Once I saw in early 2020 that they weren't, that they were still, it wasn't a big thing for them with Pigwood and stuff and the
Mhm.
pictures. That's when I was like, okay, I got to start this channel. I said,
Yeah.
these guys, not all of them, but the majority there didn't deserve that. And then I think that's when Scribe, no, that was 2021.
Mhm.
And then I created this. We did this for a while. And then I went back to Smash in November of 2021. And then I had to take a break for certain things. I was a couple of months. And that's when I think in 2022, when all the stuff with Caduceus and all of them happened. And then that's when Scribe was like, hey, are you gonna monetize the channel? Because he was telling me, he goes, look, you bring a lot of value to these people, and you've been doing it for free. And I was paying for StreamYard back then, so I was paying, like, I think it was coming out to like 300 or something a year, because back then it was cheaper. It was like 25. Now it's 45 a month. And but I was doing all, I had 2,000-3,000 subscribers. I think by the end of 2020, early 2021, I had about it went to 4,000 because of 21 Claws. And I think it was because of them.
Yeah,
When
and you
we
know
were,
what else? Oh, I was just going to comment on something because I didn't want to interrupt you. Is it okay if I say something?
no, yeah.
Because for me, okay, I've been married. I've been with plenty of women. I've raised a daughter. I mean, I never even once paid for one dating course.
Mhm.
So but when I came on, because I came on to Smash and everything, the early days when we were strictly roasting dating coaches. And I can say this, looking at hindsight, it wasn't, of course, it wasn't a revenge factor because I never was taken advantage of by these guys. But I enjoyed your content. I enjoyed the way you said things and articulated things. I found good value in that. And that was my motivation. So that's why I'm saying that's the power of your articulation, that you're able to convey your message, because it could take somebody who doesn't really care too much or has a vested interest in, dating coaches necessarily because he's never dealt with them. But when you can articulate things so well, you're going to attract people like me who says, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? because I actually enjoy American Zombie a lot more. You know what I mean? That's more my style. That's more
Mhm.
the topics that I'm interested in. But it's the fact that you could articulate so well that even on the topic of the dating coaches, I found it interesting. You know, because of the way you attacked it. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's the
Mhm.
power of the articulation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, attacking it, and
yeah.
then the knowledge of knowing. Well, you know what, too, when you just point something out that's so obvious that people can't even argue with you at that point. Like,
Mhm.
it's that obvious. I think that's what I did, and it kind of just dropped, like, it crushed them. It was like dropping a pyramid block on them. Like,
Was.
and
Yeah.
it just it destroyed, because I'm like, wait a minute, if this, so why are their wives look that way? I mean, that
Right.
doesn't make sense. And one, it was like an innocent kid just pointing something out, like the genius, they say. Like one incident, they're saying that a truck was going under a cement bridge, right? Or like an 18 wheeler, and it got stuck. So the top of the truck was just a little too high to where it got stuck underneath the bridge. And they're trying to get the truck out. And this father and his son, right? They park because there's traffic. And they say, well, what are they trying to do? His son asks the fireman, and he goes, the truck is stuck. And he looks at it, and he looks at the fireman. He sees all these men working, trying to pry the truck free. He goes, why don't they just take the air out of the tires? And the fireman looked at him, looked at his father, walked over there, told the men, they did exactly what the little boy. They're like, yeah, what? It was so brutally real. It's to say, wait, so you guys have been sitting here trying to pry this truck out from under this bridge when all you got to do is take some air out of the tires. It'll lower the truck, and now you can just drive it away. I pointed that out in the dating field, like, time and time again. I mean, I'd be hammering on them. I'm like, wait a minute, then nobody is going to complain this much about women that actually like women.
Right.
So I
You
like,
know,
I wanna talk about that. I want to, and then I realized, like, how they would bully these guys, and and now, with Agent Smith, the way it pops out. Alexis says, if you tell a friend his girl is using him or isn't interested in him, bam, Agent Smith pops up. Yep. If you try to,
yeah.
Agent Smith pops up so much. And I think that's where, uh, in that sense, maybe when I was doing that on Smash, that there's a time when you get to a point to when, what really, when I look at it, it's the betrayal. It gets to a point where I don't know how many people, when I count all the way through from Raymond and Red Pill Rebellion and Dippin and Jawara
Mhm.
and all of them. You go, I mean, I'm talking, I could list about 40 or 50 people realistically, with 21 closets and all of them. And it just, people, hopefully they realize, like, look, that's going to happen. The more you trust people, the more that's going to happen. But what they didn't realize, it wasn't just a normal person trusting them. And I think that's where they all got defeated, basically, soundly. So it wasn't even like I was battling with them. So I think a lot of the other guys looked at it as, oh, okay, this is like easy work for this guy. And some people did start channels. I think a lot of them. Caduceus started it because of me. Koala, I think he was
Yeah.
already grifting, like, on the down low. Uh, Neo Cuck.
But
Um,
where did it go? None of these channels went anywhere, right?
Yeah, they didn't. Like, Caduce, I think, made his private because he was trying to openly grift when he came on,
Yeah.
trying to do the dating thing with Tomato. Then Tomato came over to Smash, and she, I think, fell out of favor with Andrew Wilson. I don't know what
Mhm.
happened, because when you see that's what evil does. It stabs each other in the back. It's not maintained. Crook's maliciousness is it always the problem is you're going to be ripping each other off. You don't have a moral, and this is what they don't realize. It's like you see it with the majority of people on the internet, on a lot of channels and stuff. They'll talk about stuff, and when you really get down to it and you start to say, well, all right, let's be honest about this, they don't want to be honest. Agent Smith pops out. Agent Smith pops out 2.0, ready to just attack. And it's like with that field is very volatile. The fact that the thing happened with Tate and all this stuff, it's still kind of a tender thing. And I think a lot of these dating coach guys are feeling the truth has come to show people what they are. Like they showed people the fact that they put this one guy up there, and it's extremely suspicious activity going on now with him and his brother. And then they saw that, okay, he can't fight. No, I mean, it really, they really like just a lot of stuff got exposed with that. And I'm saying, well, I was saying this 5 years ago when Fresh and Fit, Myron Gaines came on the show over there, and it's still up on Smash TV. It just, you know what it is? They
didn't want the truth. They didn't want the truth.
Yeah, they're afraid of it too. They're very people on the internet, a lot of them extremely immature with big channels. Yes. The big channels, extremely. It's sort of like, all right, the good thing is I know that with talent and discipline, because discipline has to be there. That's the everyday streaming. That's the showing like, hey, when I did Blog Talk Radio every day for like, I think it was 90 days that we bought a plan, did it. It was a call-in show. Great stuff. That was where I had met Drew Ma and a few other people. He had what'd you say? Was that Azroom?
I was Azroom.
Sorry, MD. I had to take my mother to the hospital. So sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, then with Blog Talk, doing that every day, that was tough, man. That was tough. Like, I mean, I remember days where I would tell one of the guys, it was me and two other guys, and I would say, just like play a recording of some philosophy or something, and they would be, like, yeah, man, it's like every day is tough. Because a friend of mine, he did comedy in Seattle, and he had a show. And he said they did 90 days straight. And he goes, yo, man, it's tough. So with this, it's tough. Like, I figure, okay, every day is like it's kind of like a resume in a way. So it's also helping people with the show. And it's the best way to show people, like to say, okay, look, these shows I did is to explore topics so people can learn more on human behavior and how to deal with humans in society and different types of behaviors, or even if one might call it possessions or whatever, that are within us that can, other people are going to come at us and they can use these things to try to change us to an agenda that was implanted in the other person. And we're seeing this clearly with the politics, with the religion, with the schooling, with food. People say, oh, well, everything's, what are you going to eat then? Whatever, like any type of excuse to go eat the McDonald's or to buy the microplastic water in the store or something like that. Instead of saying, you know what, why don't we just, you should have like an old glass bottle or whatever and just put your water in that. You need a water filter. It's like something, always trying to do something to stay a little bit ahead of the curve, and remind yourself, if you don't do that, then you are one of the ordinary zombies. So doing that, just something as simple as having a glass water bottle to say, okay, I have a seltzer bottle. That's a good bottle. The Gerald Steiner seltzer clear bottle. It's only, I think, a liter, right? So it's a slim bottle. And if I fill it with water, so now I have a bottle with water that is not going to leach plastics into the water. And if I need some water, I have it. And so I'm doing something to improve myself, and subconsciously that has an effect on the person to say, oh, I care about myself. I care about myself enough. Like when you look at Poland Spring, that's like buying a plastic bag with water. I mean, it's just you touch the container and it just crumbles in your hand with the water inside of it. Like, what the heck is this? Like, was this like, what is this? And they got caught bottling tap water about 12 years ago, 12, 15 years ago. And I remember within a year or two, everybody forgot. I mean, Poland Spring is notorious for having possibly the thinnest plastic bottle that is on the shelf. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And now you have other bottles that have better quality, harder, but when they test them, they still have the microplastics. Even the glass bottles have it to a point where it's on the lid, the sprayed plastic mold that's on the lid of the glass bottle can leach plastic. And they try to use that as a study to say, oh, look, there's more plastic that leached into glass bottles than in plastic bottles. But what they didn't say, I think, in the study was they tested micro plastics versus nanoplastics. Because if you test nanoplastics, you're going to find a lot more in the plastic bottles, because now you're dealing with things that are extremely small, a billionth, right, of a meter. That's like incredibly small. Yeah, 1/1,000,000th of a millimeter. So basically, 1,000th of a millimeter, you're dealing with microplastics.
But
A
I've
million.
also, yeah, I was just going to mention, I've also heard of like beers. I was watching something the other day, where because they get moved around during transportation so much that some glass particles, microscopic levels, get released into the beer itself. So that can happen too, where you're eating small pieces of glass. Basically, you're drinking small pieces of glass, and you're consuming alcohol or certain beers or whatever beverage is put in a glass container, because it does move around and cracks. Little particles can be released.
Yeah. I mean, clean water, how the body works, what to eat, environment. These are like basic important things to know.
Mhm.
And for some, just the fact that those things are minimized, that right there is the red flag to say,
I
okay,
think it's done deliberately. It
yeah.
really is.
Mhm.
Yeah, the American, the healthcare industry is an industry. It's all right. I was in the hospital for last week, basically. You know what I mean? That's what I was. And luckily, I don't think it's anything unserious, but you know, um, it's a business. You know, it
Yeah.
really is. These drug companies, everything. It's a business.
The
Right?
whole, if you, there's some pretty good books on that. Like, there's one called The Human Body Shop. It's a book. I think I had it on the shelf. Yeah, The Human Body Shop by Kimbrell. So the author is Kimbrell, and it talks about like what we see. We see like a lot of people don't realize a blood bank is like a body part. Blood is a part of the body.
It's a
Um,
tissue,
yeah,
blood
and
and tissue.
so
Blood.
there are, yeah, like you have this
It's an organ. It's an organ. I'm sorry. Blood and
yeah.
tissue is an organ. Yeah.
Well, it's well, a body part. So
Yeah.
it could be, you look at it like, wow, we're in an age of where they got body parts on ice. And how far does it go? Like why I think the mind of thinking that these guys would have any type of stoppage, like when they say, oh, well, cloning humans is against the law. It's like there is no law. It's like, come on, man.
No,
The zombie,
there is no.
the Agent Smith that pops out to defend that as if there's some magical moral thing that protects it prevents these guys from doing these horrific experiments on animals and people. I mean,
Yeah.
look at a lot
Tuskegee
of,
experiment, Tuskegee right here in America, Tuskegee experiment that we know of. That's one major one that we know of. I forget, what was it, polio they were injecting into people?
well, they were saying that. I mean, in our
Yeah.
opinion, it just,
Oh, in our opinion, sorry about that.
yeah, they're saying like that
My,
that in some stories they're saying with that they're also, I mean, once they do the magic potion, that right there, that I think Bruce Lipton talked about that. He goes, look, you're going underneath into something, you're invading. That's invasive. And in some instances, okay, if the instance is very dire straits, we understand sometimes it requires serious measures.
Mhm.
We see it with surgeries and stuff. Somebody needs, exploratory surgery. Anybody can look it up and see the definition of how sometimes you're not going to always have an answer in certain things. And this is what diagnoses and stuff are for, to try to figure it out and say, okay, now the more you try that, the more you get closer. It's still, I think in some countries they were saying one of the biggest things they ask people when they go to the doctors, what did you eat? Because they know that a lot of the times people aren't feeling good due to what they're eating.
yeah,
If you're eating right, then a lot of things go right. If you're eating right,
can I
a
comment
lot
on
of
that surgery? What you just said on that
uh-huh.
surgery, because
Yeah.
I used to work in not in medical itself, but I worked on the business aspect of it in an office. And there's, you know, people they hide the numbers, but they're in there. And the ones that were reported, it's kind of shocking how many people didn't make it through surgery. And who knows if they're underreporting those numbers, but there's quite more than what people realize. That sometimes these guys, they go under the knife and they don't come back because they're not doing it properly. They're not fully trained the right way. And yeah, it happens quite often. Quite often. We're not talking elderly people. We're talking people 18, 19 years old sometimes. They do the procedure improperly, and the people don't make it. There's been a lot of fatalities in these hospitals. Some hospitals, it's been so bad they had to close it down. They had to
I
close
think they were
down.
saying like if anybody looks up on Google, there's a statistic that is saying about what's the average amount of deaths in the hospital per year. And I know it's some crazy reasons when you look at it. It's some
Hmm.
real it's to the point where people should be concerned. Like, look, we need
Yeah,
to, it really is, honestly, and this is a tough one. It's our responsibility to take care of our health. And we all, again, we're partial health zombies because we know that if something happens, we're going to run to the doctor or to the
of
hospital,
course. We're in
so
pain. We're
yeah,
suffering.
and
Well,
we're partially health zombies, and we know that we could prevent easily over 50%, but more into the 90% on having to visit or go through any of these visits if we're ingesting and eating clean and natural food and water.
yeah,
Easy, and making sure our environment, because your environment, you want to make sure is at least safe to the point. You don't want uh like I don't keep my phone next to me, close to me when I sleep. I leave it at least 10 feet away, or at least like 8 to 10. And the alarm clock too, it's at least about 7 feet away, because the plug, when it's plugged in, it radiates a certain amount of electromagnetic uh, field. And anybody can look this up, that the least amount of electronic devices within a certain proximity to you when you're sleeping is the better the sleep that you're going to get, because now you're not getting bombarded by these electromagnetic fields. um, and it's something that's easily missed, because we know that, okay, we're making sure the food, the water's clean. Wearing certain clothing, very important, like not to wear polyester and stuff like that, because now the plastics, it's not letting the material is not letting it breathe the body properly. Spandex, rayon, nylon, satin, The natural alternatives are always more breathable and preferable, really, like silk, um, cotton, linen, wool, stuff like that. Um, so now you got, you know, the clothing part, the food part, the water, the making sure your environment is good. Also, products. Anybody uses soap or any type of, you know, we know that underarm deodorant, certain people can be allergic, this and that. These things need to be looked into. The evolution agent Smiths, they're probably one of the most notorious agent Smiths, man. Mr. X, I know you got a lot on this. Thoughts on evolution agent Smiths if you're there.
Oh yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, definitely go to I mean, that one channel, you can see them right there in front of your face. I mean, they will, you even hint about creation or the fact that this is not proven science. The Agent Smith comes out in an instant. I mean, there you can just see it within an instant. There's no hiding it. They just come out and they're on the attack. Like, how dare you question what we've been told? That's basically what they're saying without even knowing it. You question what was written in the textbooks, then you're an idiot. You're a moron. This was taught you in high school, and you don't get it yet. You're uneducated. You're stupid. And they'll say it to anybody. Doesn't matter how much research you've done. If it's to the contrary of what they believe, you're an idiot. That's Agent Smith right in front of you.
Yeah. The evolution agent Smiths are, I mean, they pop out, they're relentless, man. Any type of thought to really go and understand science and human origins, evolution agent Smiths pop out to gatekeep
Yes.
any discovery. Instead of looking at the science of the discovery and forming a theory to fit the evidence, they will immediately take that and say, oh, look, this proves evolution, immediately changing the evidence to fit the theory.
I have a perfect example for that too, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mentioned the appendix. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No. You're right.
I had mentioned the appendix to them. And I said it was proven in early 2000s that the appendix wasn't vestigial. It played an important part in storing antibodies to fight, in our immune system to fight off disease. Oh, no, you're wrong. It's vestigials when we were apes. No, that's wrong. It's like, wait a minute. This was discovered in early 2000s. It's part of science. They did the research. They did the testing, but they don't want to hear it because in their evolutionary playbook, it still didn't transfer. But I was quoting science. I wasn't quoting my opinion. I was quoting a study that was done by scientists.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very, very Agent Smith. Those evolution Agent Smiths are extremely irrational, logic and reason. They're immune to it. Alexis says, yeah, the pandemic back with the epidemic in the 80s, right? And you know who was there? The Agent Smiths were there, but I think Fauci was back then. They got signs you can look up on Google with people protesting, I think, certain events back in the 80s during that epidemic, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like an epidemic. But Alexis, yeah, definitely. Agent Smith came out. If you say anything, Agent Smith was out immediately, man. Yeah, smart firms, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Kids sleeping with it under the pillow. Oh my goodness.
Wait till the glasses. Everybody's wearing these glasses. What it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's real zombie effect.
Yeah, it's you got. I heard the baking soda with the hydrogen peroxide is the best toothpaste. Good to see you, Christopher. Yeah, there's no profit. The profit, I mean, it's to the person. It's the person. It's so they get us with the thing like that. I mean, that shows me just how susceptible I am to so many things. The fact that it's like a battle to eat healthy. That's crazy. Or like Drew would say, heal thy. And that makes a lot more sense instead of saying healthy. So heal thy, like healing instead of helling. So it's really healing. Like he made a very good point when he looked into those words. That's when he used to have his show back in like 2011, I think, or 2012. Where he drew he had a pretty good show.
You know, when I go to the supermarket, MD, and I'm walking through the aisles and I see this, it's particularly the cereal aisles and how it's marketed to children. And of course, the kids, they see what's on the cover and they can say, oh, I want this one. You know what I mean? But it's just basically a box of sugar. And if we had an FDA that, or the health administration that really cared about the well being and the health of children, they would probably put some restrictions on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute, we can't be selling these young kids all this sugar. You're just selling them, you know, that's what they're eating for breakfast, straight sugar,
Yep.
and nothing.
And then the cartoons were based on the cereals.
Yeah.
I mean, you would see a cartoon commercial directly injected into the minds of children. Saturday morning, oh yeah, I was a cereal addict.
Yeah.
As a kid, yeah.
What kid's not gonna like sugar? You know, I love. You know what I like. I like. What was the apple? Whatever. What was it? I can't remember. Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks. I thought those were good.
Oh, Apple Jacks was so addictive. They just, yeah. I think about that. The combination of drug foods with Apple Jacks, the flavor, you know, the way that it melted and changed texture with the milk, because the milk was the other part of it, of the drug food, basically.
Yeah. And then there was the one with the frog. I can't remember the one with the frog. What's that? One with had the frog on it. I don't remember, but
They always had the mascot. I think that was Super. No, the bear was Sugar Crisp.
Sugar Crisp, yeah. Captain Crunch, we remember him. He's easy. Yeah, they had
the frog. I think was Sugar Smacks.
Sugar Smacks, that's what Smacks.
Yep.
Yeah, those were good. And the Fruit Loops, of course, you know.
Fruit Loops, yeah, those were straight addictive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Crunch, the Crunch Berries. Oh my goodness, that was sugar on another level. The Crunch Berries.
Count Chocula, yep. Chocolate. Yeah. I mean, those are just boxes of sugar. And it's like, wait a minute. That's not healthy for young kids to be consuming that much. They're supposed to be eating fruits and bananas and you know, whole grains, you know, getting their vitamins and minerals. What are they getting that in this? You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Christopher says, in the UK, most supermarkets have 2 aisles dedicated to breakfast cereals. Holy smokes. Wow. Yeah, they are relentless in promoting those. When I was a kid, man, it was crazy back then. I could imagine today. It is 2 aisles for the cereals. And I remember seeing, like, usually they have like a full aisle for soda and then another aisle for chips. I mean, it's crazy, man.
I mean, think of a young kid in the morning. He wakes up, he eats a bowl of basically sugar, whatever cereal he chooses. It's mostly sugar. Gets that sugar high, so it wakes him up, gets him ready to go to school so he can get dressed, get out of the house, get on the bus or wherever, you know, get to the school. But by the time he's in the classroom and it's dragging, he's ready to crash.
Oh, yeah.
And he can't focus or concentrate on the material anymore.
Yep. Sugar drug crash right after homeroom.
Exactly. It's like a recipe. It's like, it's the science. It's like, is that coincidence or was that planned? You know?
Oh yeah, that's orchestrated like so ingeniously that if you say something, it's like Alexis is saying, if you say anything, the food agent Smiths, yeah, they will pop out. If you tell them about the cereal, the sugar being not good for, I mean, the kid, I would think that, you know, eggs, you don't need bacon or any type of meat that early in the morning.
Right.
Eggs, bread. I wouldn't say cheese, even though I do like it. I've been staying off it for a while.
Well, within moderation, anything, but
yeah.
But
the bread is like a filler, which I know isn't the greatest, but if it more natural type, the better.
Hmm.
So the egg with the bread and butter, that holds the sugar, the blood sugar. 2 eggs maybe on the bread till like lunch, and maybe you can even have that possibly with oatmeal because that's even more of a of giving you some fiber, depending on what you'll be doing too throughout the early part until you hit lunch. It's
I would
very
love to
important.
see. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I
No,
was just
no,
saying, I'd love to see the correlation if there was ever a study of this. That's why I enjoy coming to your show because I know you do so much research and something will pop up. But the advent of these sugar cereals when they came out, I don't know if it was the 60s as the earliest or the 70s, when they really just spread like wildfire for kids. And now the current obesity epidemic that we face today,
hmm
you know, because we didn't have it in the 50s. And, those kids of the 50s, maybe when they were younger in the 40s, they weren't, there was, they were eating more oatmeal or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it led to where we are today. Like the cereal was the start of it all. It was the
Well,
catalyst for
yeah,
everything.
cereal, the frozen bird's eye and TV dinners
Oh yeah.
because that was highly processed too.
Hmm.
I remember those. They, yeah, the whole processing of the food. When you think about it, it's like that's you. It's like packaging. The person becomes so domesticated at that point.
Yes. And they become a sugar addict too, because there's withdrawals from. If you're a sugar addict, you get withdrawal symptoms for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a drug.
And the younger they start, I mean, they stood the commercials. You and I, probably saw them in the late '70s, early '80s.
Yes.
It just, it's kind of like Christopher was saying. It just, relentless. He's so right with this, Christopher. The TV adverts are relentless promoting breakfast cereals. Yes, I mean the commercial. We still remember him. Sugar Smacks. The guy, the bear from the Sugar Crisp. He would be like a
Mhm.
a cool bear type of thing.
The
Um,
Flintstones, of course.
yep,
Yeah, there's the
yeah.
Fruity Pebbles. The Fruity Pebbles. Yeah.
Frankenberry.
Oh, Frankenberry. Yes.
Yep,
I know.
Frankenberry, Count Chocula. Um, Lucky Charms.
Oh, Lucky Charm. I love Lucky Charms. Yeah, with the
Oh man,
marshmallow
Lucky
in them.
Charms. That was the yeah. Lucky Charms. Captain Crunch was actually pretty good. That was
No,
a
it was.
a
It was.
solid drug food, man. That had me cracked out many mornings as a kid on
Yeah.
cereal and yeah, the what was it? The Crunch Berries, the regular Captain Crunch, and then the Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. I was like,
Mm.
wow, this is so drug food.
It is.
Jake.
Frosted Flakes,
Jake.
they're great.
Oh,
Tony the
there you
Tiger.
go. Now that would be a stream. All these cereals. Good to see you, Jake.
Mr. XMD, what's up? I heard you guys name off cereal, man. That's like my most zombie commercial. Just they're great. Well, they spell great with 3 E's and 4 A's, so they must be good for you.
Yeah. Oh man, Frosted Flakes were good, man. They gave that sugar. They just turned the milk into just a drug, another drug.
It's like a liquid Colombian Bam Bam, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
it might as well be that, dude. And that's what I say
Oh,
about dude, they sell sugar by the pound. Like it looks like kilos. You know what I mean? Like that's what it should be considered. Wait, I mean, how is it legal to sell that much sugar? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Especially young kids with small bodies. You know what I'm saying?
Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. Alexis says, Jake, when did you notice Jose's Agent Smith?
Bro, that's why I jumped on, man, because I was actually going to say, man, and speaking about Agent Smith, I mean, Jose is basically an Agent Smith. Bro, was he undercover the whole time? I mean, I give Jose shit all the time, man. And anytime he, like, I'm going to be honest with you, though, I didn't think he was an undercover dating roach until the same time Scribe did, when he just, like, joking around, what's the last time he cold approach? I don't know, a couple of years ago or something, like, he just, yesterday. And I was just like, what? So, yeah, I would say the same time as Scribe, man. When he said yesterday, that for me was like, who are we talking to here, man? That same thing as Scribe, man. That's when I started questioning Jose a little bit. And then he came on yesterday, like he was trying to antagonize us or taking things out on his Black Pill brothers. Like, that's, bro, whatever happened, dude, it ain't our fault. Don't take it out on us, man. Like, if anything, we're going to help you out. So I don't know. We try to give you some good advice. That's what we do over here. We help men. And then, Jose comes over here like a female dog on PMS. You know what I mean? Acting like a, so, so I don't know what his deal was, man. But I would say when he said yesterday was the last time he cold approached, same thing as Scribe, man.
Agent Smith came out. I mean,
MD, what do you think about that? Do you really think he was an undercover, like, dating roach? Like, have you heard him on other streams? You said, like, you hear, like, you hear rumors.
I don't think he's an undercover dating roach. I think he's a person that believes in what the dating roaches say, and that maybe he's friends with them. We know a lot of plants do get in. We saw it with Caduceus and Koala, and
well, I mean, he's not smart enough to be a dating coach and make money off it, but I mean, like, he's like one of the idiots to pay for it, right? Like,
he tried to say the one thing that I made sure it was good that I was attentive to stop it right when he said it. Was when Scribe was on, he tried to say that, oh, well, we established that, he was saying he established, game is manipulation, and that it has to be done to be able to, like, he was going into saying, I guess, to talk to women. And I'm like, no, we don't advocate that. I said,
I never agreed with that statement. Never.
Yeah, he tried to slip that in there. And that's when I was like, no, I'm not going to let him, say that. And, just, I mean, I couldn't believe he was saying it. I was just like, wait a second.
How are you going to manipulate someone into being attracted to you? The only way is to basically pay to play. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's nothing you could say except for
and it's still not
offering money, or what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like saying, okay, when it's kind of like when he said that, I was just like, look. And the thing is he tried to keep saying that, okay, I'm framing the question with the yes or no thing and all of that. Okay, fine. If you can give me an example. Then he's like, he doesn't have an example. I'm like, all right, so you're telling me all these times that I did this, but you can't give me one example. Okay. Then the whole thing with the dating, I think that a lot of these guys, for some reason, that when they struggle with dating or they haven't accepted the reality of dating, it can weigh heavily on them. Like it can really weigh on them to where.
Yes, that's a good point, because he's like, yeah, I got a girlfriend, and then one day he comes on stream, oh, she stole $300 of my wallet. I'm like, wait, what?
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, so I think, like, he was, one of the hopeful ones. Like, like, I was hopeful that, this one thing might, that things might work out with this one girl. And what do you know? Typical, acronym. It just for no reason, just like it doesn't work out, or like whatever. She wants to be like a W, like in the previous time, but now when she finds a guy that she wants to probably be with, she wants to pretend she's good and then not be a W. Now it's just like, I'm done with this. I'm done with it. I lived a Black Pill, dude. I was honest. I didn't, so that is the reality, man. I try to give it a shot again, and every single time it comes to one conclusion: women nowadays are not worth it. It's simple as that.
Well, some are. Some
are. Okay, 99%, at least 95%.
The person that I mean,
at least 95% are not worth it.
You know what? Not to Jose. that's the response. That's the response.
Yo, it's all a numbers game. That's
Not to
basically
him,
what he
he's like,
said.
"Look, man," he's like, not to him, bro. He's running game, bro. It just, yeah.
Bro, it's just a numbers game. You just gotta
Wait, is that
approach
what he
more
said?
and more.
When you asked them that with Scribe about with the cold approach, did he say what he was running game or something? I don't know if
Oh, with the supermarket stream?
yeah.
Oh, he I mean, Scrub was just like joking around because that's when he was running his attraction IQ streams, and we're joking around about cold approaching, and we were making fun of dating roaches, and and then he just like off the cuff, like on one of those episodes in that series, he was running to teach people attraction IQ, which Jose I must have not been listening apparently because he didn't learn anything from it. You just all of a sudden, Jose, when was the last time you cold approach? And then he says, yesterday. He was like, what? Wait, what? Are you serious? Well, hold on. You got to tell us about this. Like, you just approached yesterday? Like, how often do you do this? He's like, I don't know. If I see like, a baddie in the supermarket like yesterday, and we're like, oh, you were in the supermarket? It's like, so yeah, she was a MILF. That's what he told us that he walked up to her and said like hola in Spanish, it said like hello in Spanish, said hola and like something, and then she said, oh, I don't speak Spanish. And they were in a Mexican supermarket. She was Latina. They're in Florida, and like, bro, she obviously speaks Spanish. And then that's when I just sort of busted up laughing. I don't speak Spanish, and it was a single mom. It was young wavy. It was.
Well, he is just trying to step up the quality.
He just, bro. So the girl about his age, I guess, stole $300 out of his wallet. So I was like, okay, well, maybe if I get a single mom,
his girlfriend.
He said, yeah, it was like a girl he was dating. I mean, basically like his girlfriend. So, and he came back from the bathroom. He left his wallet on the nightstand, went to the bathroom, came back, and there was $300 missing. He told us that on stream. Everyone was like, dude, what'd you say? He's like, hey, I confronted her about it. And then like she said, oh, okay. And then like, I don't know if she gave it back or not. I can't remember like what happened, but I was like, dude, like, what kind of women are you hanging out with where they steal money out of your wallet? I've never had a woman steal money out of my wallet. And I've left it on the nightstand and stuff like to test them, dude, and never. And so that's when they're using him. They're not attracted to him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely some casino. What's the word?
You talk about the movie Casino?
Yeah, like
that was a great example. That was a great reference. Yeah, wow.
And I think he, I hope he finds a good stream or whatever, or whatever stuff he listened. I mean, I don't think that the way Agent Smith came out with him. Yeah, Jake, you noticed it with the. When he said about the cold approach, and it's sort of like, I mean, there's not really much. We see Agent Smith pops out of so many people, and we can keep it contained to an extent. Like, and
you never know, man. I did not expect Jose to be Agent Smith, but yeah, I had my suspicions at that supermarket stream. I couldn't believe it last night. Like, I get it. He like got into a little fight or whatever like happened in the restaurant he got banned from, like, so if he's the one who got banned from it, like he must have started it or something. You know what I mean? Like they don't ban the guy, who didn't start it typically. Like so
what did he get into a fight about in the restaurant? What was that about?
It was like some guy was talking loud to him, so he talked loud back to him, and then they started arguing. And then he called him a derogatory word, like a derogatory word about homosexuals in Spanish. And then like 5 minutes later, he says, Jake, you're a bigot to homosexuals. And then MD is like, whoa. Didn't you just say earlier, yesterday or whatever, you just said that? And I'm like, dude, you don't even know what the definition of that is. And so anyway, man, it was crazy, man. It wasn't even making sense.
He just was swinging at the wind. He was swinging at the wind, like, and it's like, bro, what are you doing?
That's a good analogy.
And it's like we're the two friends trying to calm him down, and he's drunk, swinging at the fuck, and we're like, bro, chill out. Man.
Anyone who gets close to it, just like Tasmanian devil, dude, he's gonna hit anything within a radius of it that he can reach.
Yeah, that's like mental, and the thing
even Jamal 30,000 feet in the air, he's swinging at him. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you?
The thing with the
hate hitting the wrong button.
Oh, that's cool. When when he was saying about the dude that he got into the argument with. I think I don't know if I said it, but it got to a point where I'm like, I wanted to say, or if I said that, why are you still arguing with the guy? You know, when it was getting really heated, and then the lady jumped in. I think he might have got shut down, and or maybe somebody.
Oh, he got banned because he was cold approach, and then some guy told him, "Hey, man, leave that woman alone." He's like, "Hey, it's my right to cold approach like Indian PE and run up escalators and run up in restaurants."
It would be crazy if that was true, because that could be true.
I just thought of it when he said he got shut down, dude. I was like, dude, he's probably cold approach at the restaurant.
Probably said something to that lady. Dude was like, "Yo, man."
He probably smiled at him when she handed him his food, and he didn't understand that she's a hired gun, dude. Like she's paid to flirt with you. You know what I mean? Like,
He's like, "Yo, he thinks she likes him." It's like, bro, she's the waitress, man. It's like, she's got to take your order, right?
Bro, yeah, she's got to take your order. That's the only reason why she's talking to your ugly ass. Yeah.
It's really, and he knows we're gonna play around and roast him, so hopefully he doesn't get.
Yeah, I know, dude. We always give each other crap. It's funny.
Yeah. Hopefully he isn't that
So,
retentive or
That's
that.
why, dude, when Zubak was grilling me, dude, that's why I took it, because I used to
my
grill
goodness.
people all the time. And dude, it was good. Zubak did a good job. It was funny. Like, hey, man, it is what it is, man. I was honest about it. Don't lie about it.
So when Sons of God, he said in the chat, he goes, Zubak was giving Jake the replicant test from Blade Runner. I was like, that is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know that reference really, man. 'Cause I haven't seen Blade Runner forever. I gotta watch it.
If you look up just the clip of that, it's hilarious, because it's the intense test that when Jamal and I were talking to Jose the other day, the same guy, Sons of God, left another comment. He goes, "Oh, another replicant test." Because
damn, I must have missed that stream, dude. I gotta watch that one back.
Yeah, that's the one I think he got a little angry with, because Jamal was on him. They were, I mean, he was like, bro.
Dude, which stream was it? Like, what's the title of it? Because I gotta watch it.
What was the title? Man.
Yeah, what are you looking for, man? Yo, now the puzzle pieces are kind of coming together. Like, Jose got shut down because he was running cold approach in the restaurant. He thought the waitress was talking to him because she liked him. Really, she was just trying to take his order. That's the only reason why she was talking to him. And then he thought that's a choosing signal, like alpha male strategy. He's like clapping and rubbing his hands together. He's like, oh, I'm a hitter with this pickup line that I learned from this dating roach. And then the guy called him out on it, that he was arguing with. The guy was like, hey, man, like, leave the woman alone, dude. She's just trying to take your order, man. You're making it weird now. And then he's like, you're a homosexual. That's why I don't talk to women. And then that's why I called him a derogatory term. And then the lady was like, whoa, what's going on? The guy started arguing with him, like, dude, what's your problem, man? And then that's why Jose got banned from the restaurant. That's the real story. I don't care what Jose says. That's a funny version, at least.
No, I think I think it was something political. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, we were talking about how he's a cold approach zombie and a political zombie. Wow, dude. He don't listen to your scribe streams or your streams. Well, it's not that, we're not oh wait, I think Jailhouse Max was saying the 500-pound. Oh man, you guys are brutal, man. Yeah, that stream was hilarious, man. That stream. I wasn't trying to grill him. There was a few questions that we asked. A matter of fact, I don't know if Alexis, if you remember the name of that stream either. It was the one with the fence, the one where he posed a question. He said, if the dog, I think you might have been on that stream, Jake, where it was, if the dog breaks out of the yard and bites someone, is it the dog's fault or the owner's fault? I don't know if you were on that stream.
But I was on that stream.
No, I remember you guys were talking about it the next day, though. I think I missed that stream, but I remember you guys were saying something funny about it. And now, okay.
Yeah, me, Jamal, Mr. X, Jose, and Jamal was grilling him hard. I mean, it almost got to a point where, I mean, it was beyond, I think, what Zubak was grilling you about the Blade Runner test.
Jamal is good, man. Jamal's a little more intense than Zubek. Zubek was like being nice about it, but it was still a good grilling.
You're more tough, so Zubek can come at you. You're tough enough to survive it. Jose seems a little bit like kind of like a water balloon kind of.
Yeah, he's fragile. Yeah,
kind of like So I think Jamal was just on him like brutal. And
then speaking about that, he's talking shit about military guys and they're cowards and stuff like that. But meanwhile, I can take a grill, I can dish out a grilling, and I can take a grilling, and then Jose can't though. But then he wants to talk crap about military guys.
Well, once he said that, right? That's when I realized. I said, okay, this guy is hurt.
Just like someone said, I think Alexis, he failed MEPS or no, Lieutenant Trans.
well, think about it. Well, Lieutenant Trans, I think, is a drill instructor. He was saying now he's doing a drill status.
Yeah, in Korea, right? He's a drill.
No. He's drill over here. He says they don't deploy. He said so. That's one of the benefits when you're drill status.
Oh, okay.
That's a tough status. When I was in, drill sergeants seemed like they were like immortal.
Yeah, dude. Like they don't sleep, man. They're always screaming and yelling. They're high alert 24/7. Dude, like those guys. That's a brutal job.
100%, PT Superman, and the fact that he's a drill sergeant there, I'm like, holy, because he went from Korea, which is 6 days. From what I remember, they used to say you have to work 6 days a week there by the DMZ, and he's went from that to drill status. It's like, holy smokes, bro. That is just like he's up there. And yeah.
What, like Jose really said that the military people are cowards? He said that actually.
Yeah, he came on the show yesterday. He was saying that, and I think that the reason he said that, I could be wrong. I'm just putting I'm trying to make it. Maybe I can't make it seem better, but he did say it, and I think it came from maybe some type of trauma that he might have, or he could have been drunk or something like that. I'm not sure. But he said it.
But they're risking their lives to save the country. How can you call them cowards, actually?
Well, that's what most people would say. But for some reason, like MD said, he was drunk or high, or he was just mad in general. And then just like, well, Jake and MD are there, and they're both veterans. So let me just say something about veterans. Like, he just like swinged at anybody, man. I don't know what his deal was.
I think you're right, Jake. I think you're right.
Yeah, and it's no hard feelings to him. It's just to say, hopefully, people that were watching and re-listen and stuff, and the younger people, eventually, it gets around to them where it's like, okay, this is how, this is real men talking and saying, hey, you know what, Agent Smith syndrome is real. That we're giving examples of behavior that it comes out of them. You never would have expected it. And
yeah, and perfect timing too, because you said even before all that happened that you're going to have an Agent Smith stream, and then boom, we got one right before you're going to have it.
I give Black Circle credit for that, because Black Circle and Alexis June were saying I should do it on Agent Smith syndrome and The Matrix as a documentary. So that's when I was like, okay, so today we'll do Agent Smith syndrome. Tomorrow we'll do Matrix as a documentary. And then there was something else for the next day. I gotta think. But Agent Smith, man, Agent Smith is relentless. Agent Smith is there. And then we got Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan is on point.
Lieutenant Dan. What does he say there? I missed it because I'm driving.
Oh, I have it. Here it is. Lieutenant Dan says the theme is him saying he's sitting there thinking. I think this is when they celebrated the New Year or something, or Christmas.
Oh, he said, then we got a snow on. I said, yep. I remember that. That's when he got rejected by the hookers. And same thing, Jose, man, got rejected by the waitress at the restaurant.
Hammering on him, man. Oh my god. I mean, Agent Smith. Hopefully, he can learn from the Agent Smith, because the whole thing is if your mind is what holds back Agent Smith. If somebody,
100%. That's what makes you. That's the difference between an NPC zombie and a real person, a survivor. So Jose, I mean, put himself into the zombie category. He put himself there.
yeah, I mean, I think the fact that what he was saying is just that something else is going on. It's very clear that I don't think I think he was trying to be mean, but I don't think it was. I think it was because of a different reason. I don't think he was genuinely. It didn't seem. It seemed like something else was wrong. It wasn't like. It's like trying to make fun of somebody for exercising.
Right.
It just doesn't make it. It's just very like. Do you understand what you're saying?
Yeah.
It kind of, yeah.
Making fun of us for being in the military, making fun of Jamal for saying he's running away when really he was said he had to go because he had to work. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, what are you like even talking about right now? And what? I think there's a couple reasons mad at Jamal. One, if he was grilled, I'm sure he was still mad about that because I'm sure he got grilled and like you say, he's fragile, couldn't take it. And then two, he's looking at Jamal's avatar, Agent Smith, and he felt like he was looking in the mirror.
Oh man, the Agent Smith. I mean, you live and you learn. You live and you learn, man. Agent Smith is everywhere. It can come out of anyone. We hold it back because we're not gonna. If somebody says, "Oh," if we were ever to vote or do anything like with the political, we're going back into Agent Smith is coming out. Azraroon, you have something?
I think I remember one more part in the movie. In the end of Matrix Revolution, the architect tells the mother of the Matrix, that psychic, the Oracle, you played a dangerous game. I think she only corrupted Agent Smith so that he'll go haywire and so that the machines will get terrified and later on release many humans who want to be released. He tells her you played a dangerous game. So I don't know, behind every Agent Smith there could be an Oracle actually.
Okay. I mean, Agent Smith. I wonder what the names of the other agents are. I don't know if they even had names.
Yeah. But the Oracle corrupts him. She allows him to infect her, but he gets infected, and then he'll try to come out of the Matrix. He'll get his chance once, but then he'll mess up the Matrix. She does it because she has compassion for the human race. After that, everything goes down, and then the architect says, "Whoever wants to be released, let them be released. We won't destroy Zion," and he goes his own way. And again, things go back to normal. So I think it was the Oracle who corrupted Agent Smith to go haywire. He says, no, every time I touch you to Morpheus, I feel I'm getting contaminated. Something is going wrong with me, but I feel infected every time I touch you. And I want to get out of this place. I want to be free. So from the beginning, she was playing him actually, and she corrupted him.
Wow. What was one of the more profound parts of The Matrix Part 1 that you found very like enlightening?
Part 1, like when Neo is given a lecture by Morpheus as to how the real world runs. Part 2 is when he meets the architect. The architect says, we've destroyed Zion countless times and we've become extremely efficient at it. And then when I went and checked, actually, there have been many human civilizations that have advanced from primitive levels and they've gone up to the level that we've come to. And 81 times we've been destroyed and recreated. So this and that have a parallel, actually. They have an intersection and a parallel together. It's strange, but it's something like very difficult to explain in words how these things actually mirror reality at times.
Okay. And the part where you remember the part where the boy had the spoon
Yeah.
What do you think of that part? Like, what was he trying to say, basically?
Oh, that was
Uh,
that's a great. I mean, literally mind bending. Literally and figuratively. And I think they were trying to tell us like like how the pyramids were built. Supposedly, people like telekinesis and people were able to, our mind is so powerful if it isn't corrupted. So the child wasn't corrupted yet by the world. And so, he still had that ability, like he never lost it. That's kind of what I got from that scene, that we're born, with these talents and abilities, and the world dulls us down and corrupts us and puts us into a box, tries to, make us conform. And, we lose belief in our own talents and abilities, and we just become another cog in the machine, another cog in the wheel. That's kind of what I got from that scene, and really good scene though.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The child actually says that there's no spoon,
Mm-hmm.
but that's Shankaracharya's Advaita says that Maya is not true, only Brahman is true. But this Advaita Vedanta says that Maya is true and Brahman is also true. So that scene was a bit, what do you say? They took the Shankaracharya's version and it was a bit misread, but the spoon really does exist. You just need to, like, what do you say, use supernatural powers to bend it. Everything in the world is real, including yourself, and even God is also real. But the thing is, what the Matrix tried to show is Shankaracharya's philosophy, like the world is false, only like Brahman or something is real. So that's one part they didn't get correct actually with the spoon. The spoon
Oh.
really is, it does exist, it's a part of God. So when you're bending, it's not only you who's bending, but the spoon is also bending. The boy tells him, when you're bending, it's only you who are bending, there's no spoon. That is like that was wrong actually.
Hmm. So you're saying they
Yeah.
took some of that from like a Vedic script or something?
Yeah. They took it from the Vedic script by interpreted by a wrong person, by interpreted wrongly by Shankaracharya. Then Shankaracharya had to rechange his whole thing. Like Shankaracharya was addicted to debating people and defeating them. Then one day he came to a person called Mandan Mishra. Mandan Mishra, he defeated him in debates. He was about to win. Then his wife asked him. She challenged him and she wanted to debate him on. Sexual intercourse. So he was a celibate, right? So what he did was, like, he reanimated the corpse of a king. Then he went and enjoyed in the harem, and then he came and defeated her in a debate. But then she had the last laugh. She says that you preach that the world is false and only God is true, but you're debating all the time. So you're simply raising falsehoods to defeat falsehoods. So then he had to learn his lesson and he kept his mouth shut.
Wow. Wow, that's deep, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, The Matrix has some amazing scenes. Amazing. The one with the kid with the spoon, the Oracle, Agent Smith. I mean, the lady with the red dress, that one. I think that
Yeah.
was like the first one he sees him right there. Well, I mean, they did see him before in the movie.
Oh, I think there was some metaphor to the lady with the red dress where children look at her and he's staring on the barrel of a gun. That, I mean, I think just shows you that the devil wears a pretty disguise, and the sexual lyric from Metal Song that I like, and also that women can be your downfall. Like it's man's like greatest weakness. With just a pretty woman, dude. Like it's so many men have been corrupted.
In your opinion,
Or gone against in my opinion, have gone against their own
no,
morals because of a woman.
Is it the men being corrupted, or is it the men allowing themselves to be corrupted? So you see the difference in those two statements.
No, good point. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they're going against their own morals. Like they're definitely choosing that because they're weak, because they can't resist.
No, it goes like this. See, like there are many pretty women like you're not destined to have you're not destined to enjoy all of them. You may get one or two of them. To get all of them is impossible. So I think fate only arranges it in such a way that it creates this illusion that you're attracted to her. You'll go to her, and then you might be in a relationship with her. It might even end up in marriage and with children as well. So like to have all of them is impossible. So fate will arrange it in such a way that you'll get corrupted by a beautiful woman, and it'll lead to your downfall, like the way the oracle corrupts Agent Smith, and he makes a mess of everything in the end, right? If all of us became aware like Neo, this entire matrix will come to an end. No, the Maya, the world of Maya, it has to, the cycle has to keep going on. So you can't help everyone. Like there's a
No,
saying, Bali.
we're not saying like how you said that the oracle corrupts him,
Yeah.
or we let that. It's more of we let the corruption. Men don't get corrupted; they allow themselves to be corrupted.
Uh,
You see,
I
you
think,
see the difference in the two. So it's very
yeah.
important to look. It's sort of like you, if we put it on ourselves. If you become if you get married, or say you become the mayor of a town,
Hmm.
and you become corrupted, as they say, you allowed yourself to become corrupted, or did the position of being in power corrupt you? So now,
Uh,
right? So
I
which one would you choose?
I
Is
think you
it
were
correct?
always corrupt. I think you were always corrupt from the beginning in this case. The power just acted as a mirror to show you who you
No,
were.
no, no, no. I'm just
Okay.
saying. Okay, you're saying the power acted as a mirror.
Yeah, yeah. Acted like a mirror to show you who your true self was. Because most of the people fail this test. So if most of the people fail this test, it's not a coincidence. Only few are allowed to become like Neo and escape
But,
this
but
cycle
again,
of,
if we look at it like the mirror, that's
yeah.
very, in a way, it is judgmental, but it's in a way rightfully judgmental to an extent, to say, okay, this is what you're doing. We're mirroring, we're showing you what you're doing. And it might not look nice, but then don't do it then, because that's why you're seeing that in the mirror. But
That's why I kind of, I view it as the same way as like when people are given power, same thing when they're given money. Money just amplifies who you really are, because now you have the power. When you have
well,
money, you have the
again,
means
right?
to spend it in a good way or a bad way. And same thing with power. When you're given power, you can either be responsible with it or be corrupted with it.
Yeah. Now that's the thing. So it's not the power, and it's not the money that's doing it. It's the person not being mature enough to handle it, or just being corrupt, basically untrustworthy. And who knows if they're ever going to learn to be trustworthy. Like, you think, okay, if somebody steals from you, steals money, and then you end up getting money back from them to show them what it feels like, or if somebody else steals from them, some people might learn why, or some people might not even need to go through that to know that it's not right to steal, because you wouldn't want that to be done to you. But when I look at some people that just don't learn from stuff like that, and with other things too in life, with the way you treat people, it's like, okay, the real test doesn't come from somebody who's nice to you and you're nice to them. The real test comes from when somebody isn't nice to you, and you can still hold who you are strong to say, okay, this person is disrespectful. I'm not going to let me, I'm not going to become disrespectful. I'm not going to allow that to happen. Some people will say,
Yeah.
well, he was disrespectful to me, but that's playing it like immature, like a child saying, so what if he's disrespectful for you? That doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful back. You
Yeah,
can,
that's a really great point, MD, because Christianity also teaches that. And Jose, he brings the Bible sometimes and says he's a Christian, but he definitely wasn't acting like one on the stream. I mean, so definitely something's wrong. I mean, he wasn't listening to Scribe streams. He wasn't listening to your streams. And so he probably wasn't listening to his preacher either. So, I mean, he don't listen to nobody.
No, I think it was the liquor. I don't think he's fully. I mean, hopefully he can look back at it and say, okay, because I'm not trying to like roast him or anything. Of course, we're gonna make jokes, but we're not gonna just like unjustifiably do anything like that. I mean, I think it's funny, actually. I think it's something that we can all laugh at and say, wow, look at that. Hopefully in time, everybody grows from it to say, hey, you know what? That was a long time ago, because time, of course, is moving quick, man. Moving quick.
Correct.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I hope Jose grows up and learns to stop cold approaching. I really do.
It just, I don't know, bro. I just, but yeah, man, it's getting late. It's like 12:35. You know, tomorrow's Matrix documentary, so we'll do one on that. And yeah, man, this
Last point, MD. Last point. Matrix tomorrow. Can we discuss about the movie in relationship to the real world as well?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, MD. Okay.
So tomorrow at 10, you guys take care. Everybody in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great night. We'll talk tomorrow.
Good night, MD. Good night, Jake.
Thank you, guys.